Good morning. Thousands of files linked to Jeffrey Epstein have been released following mounting pressure on the White House.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Bill Clinton are amongst the many high-profile individuals pictured.
Well, it marks the largest release of information so far relating to Epstein and his associates, although apparently it represents just 10% of the total.
Retailers report a disastrous December after the government's £30 billion budget tax raid, prompting questions over whether the Chancellor has stolen Christmas.
The author and actor David Walliams is dropped by his publisher following allegations he harassed junior female colleagues. He strongly denies all of the claims.
1 in 8 Britons are expected to be claiming disability benefits by the end of the decade. We'll be debating whether it's time for a crackdown.
You know, packages just dumped. Yesterday, for example, I found an every parcel just in the gutter.
And missing deliveries are causing concern as Christmas parcels go missing nationwide.
A very good morning. It's all over in Miami, where Anthony Joshua has forced a 6th-round stoppage against Jake Paul in their world heavyweight contest. The Briton acknowledged he wasn't at his best. We'll have reaction throughout the morning.
It's the last weekend before Christmas, but is it going to be dry or wet? Stay tuned and I'll be here with all the details.
It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith and this is GB News Breakfast.
We've been talking about Christmas presents, haven't we? Just before we came on air this morning.
Yes, because it is, well, it's imminent, isn't it?
It is imminent, just a few days. And I was thinking, if you're struggling, socks.
Socks. We love a sock.
We do like a sock.
I'm very sad today because I put on my favourites. Well, they're amongst my favourite socks, and they've lost their grip. They've lost their grip on reality.
They are just sagging around your ankles now. I hate to say it.
Really are. It's not a good look.
It's the elastic, isn't it?
It's the elastic that's gone, but they're also going through at the heel, and they're lovely. They've got a little kind of lovely little image on the back with a tiny little Diamante thing, and oh, hello.
Oh, there you go.
So that does not look like my socks at all. Anyway, they're lovely, but I'm rather sad because I think they might have to go into the bin and go and join the great sock.
When do you think you'll make a decision on it?
Well, I don't know because I'm going to check them later because today was the first day that they genuinely barely sort of managed to make it 5 steps before they plummeted.
It's always a bad feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to make a decision after I've looked at the rest of them and seen if there's any wear left with
You see,
the
and
heels.
before people start moaning and saying, well, you should darn them or
I'm very good at darning my socks.
But you've had them for 10 years, haven't you?
I have had them for 10 years. And they're just... I think the elastic may have just sort of decided to perish.
Sorry, what's darning mean?
Darning? Yeah, darning is when you darn a hole.
When you essentially... I can darn... I've darned so many of my socks,
Really?
but these, they're just going... the elastic is a step.
On the way out.
Yeah. Well, so we know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah, socks.
More
I love
socks.
a sock.
Yeah, I
a sock
love
for
socks.
Christmas.
All my socks are gifts, basically.
I think they're a great present. Great present, just in case you're thinking, wondering.
Socks
Aidan,
and hankies.
Socks.
Yeah, just put it on your list and go and get some. Thank you.
Running out of shopping days now.
Yeah, you are. Anyway, look to our top story this morning. And hundreds of thousands of files linked to the paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein have been released, though officials say that's just about 10% of the total.
Amongst the latest documents are photographs of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the former US President Bill Clinton.
Well, in one image, the former president is pictured by a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell, in another, in a hot tub with an unidentified woman.
Andrew, meanwhile, is seen laying down on the laps of 5 unidentified women.
Now, we would like to remind you that being named or pictured in these files does not actually by itself imply any wrongdoing.
Yeah, retired lawyer Rad Seeger joins us now. And Rad, I mean, that is the point, isn't it? The photographs that we're seeing does not mean any wrongdoing.
Absolutely correct, Penny. Good morning. I've been up all night trying to go through as many of these documents as I can myself, and you're absolutely right. There is no evidence in the documents that have been released overnight of any criminality whatsoever.
So why then do we need to see them? Because I mean, this is what we get. We had a release of pictures 24 hours ago from Democrats in the States, and now this huge tranche of information. And yet, I just wonder what it actually achieves.
Look, Stephen, I think the way to approach this is just the beginning. Congress recently passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and I think as members of the public, as viewers, that's what we want. Is we want transparency, we want justice for the victims, and we want accountability for anybody who's done anything wrong. This tranche that we've seen doesn't reveal anything other than people who were connected to Jeffrey Epstein. There's lots of photographs of very famous people interacting with him. There are, as far as I can tell, thousands of photographs with lots of blacked out faces, but nothing else. But the whole point of this is to get to the bottom of things, and that's what the public want. We want to know whether anybody who's rich or powerful got away with breaking the law insofar as these poor victims are concerned. But we cannot reach any conclusions this morning at all.
See, I'm just wondering, I mean, when you think that this is only 10%, I know it's a lot of photographs, but at the same time, why not just release them all? They've had enough time with these.
And Penny, that's the point, and it just whiffs, doesn't it? And look, your viewers are smart people. We will form our own conclusions as we sit in our homes and speculate today about what this all means. And that's really what we don't want. We want, as members of the public, to see evidence. And I'm afraid the way the DOJ, the Department of Justice in Washington, is approaching this is only going to make things worse for anybody who is under a cloud of suspicion, because the truth always surfaces eventually. Penny, you'll know that as a journalist. As a lawyer, we will always get there, come what may. And I'm with you. I think the sooner the DOJ complies with this act that Congress passed, the better for everybody. And look, you guys will keep going at it. So will us in the legal profession, and I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
I mean, one of the claims as to why they haven't met the deadline, they haven't released all that they are required to do, is that they're going through redacting loads of stuff, and they say some of it's national security, some of it is to do with protecting victims, and so it is necessary. But of course, some of the victims have come out after this latest release and said, well, we're not happy because we don't know what's been redacted, we don't know how substantial it actually is.
And Stephen, that's absolutely right. And listen, going through the process of redacting and trying to protect, whether it's national security or victim's identity, of course that's important. But the context is everything for that. I think the public will understand if, for instance, we need to protect victims' identities. That's the right thing to do. But like you and I and your viewers, we will all be sitting here this morning not trusting those redactions because we fear there's a cover-up. Now, we don't know whether there is one or not, but that's the suspicion. And that's why we all have to keep going at this and not give up.
And you mentioned, you said that the better thing would be to have everything out there. That would be better for everybody. The suspicion, of course, Rad, is that not everybody will think it will be better for them, perhaps.
And Penny, there's the point, because unfortunately, there's a long track record in our society, isn't there, of rich and powerful people using their influence to cover up, any misconduct. And we just don't know today whether that is the case or not. But as I say, viewers are intelligent people. We fear that there is misconduct. We fear that there is a cover-up, that people like Epstein, who I think has been proven to have trafficked these young women on an industrial scale, that anybody in his orbit will have been part of that. Now, that's just speculation. We don't know. But I think that the public will not stand for it. We will not walk on by when we think that rich and powerful people are getting away with things. So I'm very confident that we will eventually get there. But it's just, we're not there at the moment.
Okay. Rad Seeger, really good to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed. I tell you, the one thing which I take away from the pictures, and as we say, the pictures do not imply any wrongdoing. We need to make that very clear.
Yep.
But doesn't it all look a bit awful? I mean, it looks like something out of a 1970s
I think that's
strange movie.
It does. It does. It's just insalubrious, I think is the word, isn't it? Rather, unpleasant. The time is 10 minutes past 6.
Now, here's one for you. Has the Chancellor stolen Christmas? Rachel Reeves' budget is being criticised for potentially keeping us off the high street.
After a £30 billion tax rise, recent figures suggest that consumers are being cautious with their spending.
Well, in other political news this morning, there's a major inquiry launched into rising job inactivity amongst young people, including, apparently, a review of the minimum wage.
Former Conservative Minister Kevin Foster joins us now. And let's kick off then with the fact that things do not look good, for example, on the high street. And that's been, I mean, there will be so many people saying the problem was that we had pretty much a month's worth of it's not going to be good, this budget, it's not going to be good for anybody. And so people got worried and decided to rein things in.
Absolutely. You know, economic speculation doesn't just go into a vacuum. You know, people don't just sit at home, listen to news that taxes may be going up. A chancellor, remember that big speech she gave at Downing Street, basically to tell everyone it was all terrible and there was going to potentially be income tax rises. Well, people don't just sit there and think, oh, that's nice to hear, and then go out and do what they plan to do anyway. People were making financial decisions based on all the speculation in the media, and unsurprisingly, you know, putting off non-essential purchases would be one of the first things you'd do if you're worried about, for example, how you might pay your gas bill next year. Particularly, if you remember, we also had news around energy bills also potentially going up slightly in January as well. That also came alongside a lot of the speculation around tax rises. So it might have been a good political trick to push the budget as close to Christmas as possible. That means you take some of the votes around it just at a time when perhaps people's attention is moving away. Yet economically, it was a very poor thing to do. It created a really negative wave and had real impacts.
Well, yeah, but so is this a case? I don't want to sort of make it worse than it is, but has the Chancellor committed the sort of awful sin politically of talking the economy down?
Yes, you'd look at some of what was being said. That was just the whole tone was so negative about all the difficulties, all the problems. But we saw this also last year, if you remember. You know, we had a late October budget, the first budget, and we saw, you know, a summer of speculation. So, yeah, it does have real-world impacts when you do this, alongside, of course, the impact of some of the decisions actually taken, which we will probably see coming out in figures over the next month or two.
Although inflation's down.
Well, slightly. It's still 3.2. It's still at 3.22%. But I think where the concerns will be, certainly in terms of high streets, is looking to what will happen now in the early part of next year. Because if you are going to have issues in retail businesses, and for that matter, hospitality, a lot of it comes in January, February, when they are quite potentially quieter months, and that's the point where things like cash flow starts to come under pressure.
Well, it's the perfect storm, isn't it? Because we already know that that retailers and others are struggling. They're struggling with the changes in tax bills. They're struggling with minimum wage. They're struggling with national insurance. All these issues. Well, now if they've got a smaller take over the Christmas period than they were expecting, it's like a quadruple whammy, isn't it?
It is, and certainly, you know, I live in Torbay, talking to some of the local hospitality sector. One, they're starting to see what their rates bills will be in future, some of them facing quite exceptional levels of increases, which will hit them and hit them hard. You've then got the impact of taxation and that reducing consumer spend. So, you know, your bills are going up at the time that your income potentially might be going down. You know, all this is going to have an impact in terms of our overall economy, and that's also starting to be shown in some of the unemployment figures as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking in today's show, we're going to be talking about pubs, for example, praying for a Christmas miracle. I was reading about one pub which needs a 15% increase in trade to actually break even. But the thing is, when I look at this, and it does feel quite gloomy, but if you look at the rest of Europe, there are very few countries which are doing well with this. Well, it all started. There were trade tariffs. There's the war in Ukraine. There are so many other issues which we couldn't have necessarily foretold.
Well, there's a whole debate, I think, for Europe's economies more widely. There isn't a European Google or Facebook. There's a discussion for European countries, including the UK, about our whole regulatory framework, what our economic policies and approach are. And there's been relatively sluggish growth since the financial collapse back in 2008. And that presents some quite stark contrast with, for example, the United States of America and some of the policies adopted there. Perhaps a big one's going to be discussions around the future of energy. Energy is far cheaper in the United States. That clearly has an impact in terms of its overall economy and how well off people feel, both domestically and, of course, businesses who are big consumers of energy. So there is a wider issue there. Except, I'm not just going to sit here and try and blame the current government for every problem there is affecting the UK economy. There's clearly impacts externally as well. But that does bring on debates of how do we do that. And, our economic vision cannot be, higher tax, higher regulation. If that's the case, then, we're going to lose out in a global race against much fitter and leaner competitors.
And meanwhile, we see that there's going to be an inquiry launched, but we are seeing rising youth job inactivity. So, in effect, people not wanting jobs, not wanting to work.
I think we have to be slightly careful about saying it's all due to people not wanting to work. I can think of plenty of young people who are sending out lots of CVs, trying to find a first opportunity. And you have to look at what we just talked about, retail, for example, struggling. Well, when we think, where's the sort of place you get your first job? Mine was working behind a bar. Other people, it'll be a Saturday job at a shop. Now, yes, of course, there's been economic changes over the last 30 years in terms of the number of people who shop on the high street versus online. But still, those sectors, retail and hospitality, are the ones that give people a lot of times their first job. And yeah, they're the ones getting hit with business rates. They're the ones that are struggling with other costs, more regulation coming in. First thing you do is you stop recruiting. And of course, that more affects younger workers with less experience on their CV than older workers who will have experience, and an employer can look at their track record more to see how they'll perform. And with, for example, increasing regulations coming in terms of jobs, some people call it an employment bill, other people call it an unemployment bill. It's all pushing against the idea that you employ younger workers. And again, the minimum wage rate, wherever that's set, will also impact your decision on whether you can afford to employ an extra person alongside the national insurance tax that also brings as well. So it's not just about younger people not wanting to work. There are some clear factors there which are pushing against employers giving people their first chance in the sectors that are most likely to recruit a younger person for their first experience of work.
Kevin, thank you very much. Kevin Foster, former Conservative minister there. Now, there are lots of people. Whenever I talk to young people about jobs and everything else, the one thing that they do quote is Amazon. That you could probably, Amazon is essentially taking so much footfall away from the high street. And of course, because of the fact that it's a huge international business, it doesn't pay the taxes that, for example, the shops and all the retailers pay. So it's a pickle.
It is a pickle, but then they can. We've had all this over taxes before. I mean, Starbucks. Remember a few years ago, it was all about Starbucks.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was before Amazon became the giant.
Yeah, but I mean, with all of this change, they're paying what they're due. They're paying what the law says they have to pay. Therefore, change the law.
Exactly. That's the thing.
And you don't have to. I mean, the argument is with a huge retailer, you don't. If you charge them the same as every other business, then they're just going to go elsewhere. Right, yeah. And maybe that's the case. Well, don't charge them as much, but charge them more than you're charging them now.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, honestly, is it that difficult?
I don't know. This is something we've actually forgotten to look at.
Well, you wonder.
Who knows?
You do wonder. Anyway, if you know how to solve the problem, let us know. gbnews.com/your say.
6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:20 is the time. Here's Honor Krizik with the weather. 6:
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, South East England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain, and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall, some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here, also still very blustery around western coast to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Parcels. We're talking about missing parcels causing chaos. Could your Christmas delivery be next? Find out in a moment.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This Christmas, we're inviting you to join the GB News family for an occasion filled with joy. A chance to come together and lift our voices and celebrate what truly brings us closer at this time of year. So whether you're with friends or family or simply in the spirits of the season, we would love to share this special night of carols with you. Carols by candlelight, Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
At 6:25, and concerns are growing over missing deliveries in Gosport, and it's part of a wider problem affecting the whole country, actually, as Christmas approaches.
Our South of England reporter Isabel Fekulak has been out to find out what's really happening.
Across Gosport, parcels are vanishing. Tracking says delivered, but doorsteps say different. Ruby Armstrong opted for her parcel to be left in a safe space, but the location pictured by the driver was nowhere to be seen.
So they sent me a delivery confirmation photo, and it was sort of up against a brick wall and on a road. I had a look around the area and I couldn't find anywhere that matched the photo. I obviously complained through Every that the delivery was missing. I just sort of got a generic templated email response back, and no further action was taken, so my refund was refused. It's completely shattered my faith in Every.
In recent weeks, complaints have surged about parcels handled by Every.
As I go round with the Royal Mail, I'm finding, packages just dumped. Yesterday, for example, I found an Every parcel just in the gutter, but I'm finding Every parcels at the bottom of the stairs. You've only got to drive round to see all the Every parcels on the doorstep.
Gosport's MP, Caroline Dinage, received hundreds of emails from her constituents with claims of missing parcels. She wrote to the CEO of Every, calling for investigations into these claims.
I mean, we've had so many complaints. I've never known anything like it as a constituency MP. And some people say, their Every driver is really good and takes great care with their parcels and packages. But there is this small minority who have just had horror stories. In one case, we had an entire pile of parcels that were just dumped in a local car park. This really isn't good enough.
And this isn't just happening in Gosport. At least 8 MPs have also written to the CEO about disappearing packages in their constituencies.
As a group of MPs who are seeing this in different parts of the country, if we don't begin to see improvements with Every, then I think we'll definitely be looking at what more we can do in Parliament.
The company told us it is the busiest time of year for deliveries. It apologised for disruption in the area and said it has invested in extra resources to improve performance. It added that in Ruby's case, it did not meet expectations, and she has now been refunded. But Every handles millions of packages nationwide, and with Christmas fast approaching, many here are still wondering if their deliveries will land or disappear. Isabel Fekulak, GB News, Gosport.
Yes, I think we all need to invest in those, I know they're ugly, but those boxes that they can put stuff out, so they can put parcels in and no one can steal them.
No, because what with that, there's just one more thing, isn't it? It's
always parcels on your front door.
But when did it come? When it's so much of it now, it's all about us having to do stuff that we don't really want to do. That's the annoying thing.
What do you do then?
I don't know. Don't have a parcel delivered.
Oh, right.
Or go and pick them up from a parcel point. Maybe that's
the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of parcel points about now.
There are.
Maybe that's the way to do it. Anyway, look, enough of that. Let's tell you what you can do next year, because if you've got £85,000 in your pocket, you can buy as many parcels as you like. That's our prize in our latest Great British giveaway. And Hayley Sparks, to explain it all, I'm trying to get my head around this, has gone on a magical trip to Lapland.
Oh, really? Could we not have gone on a magical trip to Lapland to explain?
Well, we could have done, but we didn't get the option. Did Hayley?
This Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make your new year the best yet. And we've come to the fabulously festive Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate. Imagine what next year could look like for you with a whopping £85,000 in the bank. You could find yourself on the adventure of a lifetime or just safe in the knowledge that next year is on us. £85,000 of tax-free cash really could be yours. Go on, give it a go, and Merry Christmas!
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Oh, how nice.
I know, but I just want a bit of snow. We had that little brief flurry, didn't we?
It's looking unlikely, I'm afraid. But anyway,
yeah.
Away from all the... I mean, Christmas, it's all nice and all the money would be lovely, but should we just take a step back and enjoy our daily reflection?
The GB News Advent Calendar, Day 20.
Welcome to the Anglican parish of St Andrew's, Wimbledon, where I serve as the vicar. There's few things as frustrated as finding yourself locked out of somewhere you're trying to be. Recently, I was coming home late at night and realised I didn't have the key. I couldn't get in. There's lots of descriptions the Bible gives for Jesus Christ. One we may be less familiar with is the image of him being the one who holds the key. Isaiah 22 puts it like this: I will place on his shoulder the key to the house of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. It's a double-edged image because a key is perfectly designed to lock and unlock the right door. The startling claim of the Bible is that what unlocks or locks the door into God's presence is not an archbishop or a pope, it's not you or me, it's not our good deeds or our bad, but Jesus Christ. It's a humbling thought for those of us who might feel proud or superior to others. Jesus determines who's in and who's out with God. But also what an encouragement for those of us who feel trapped in a prison of our own selfishness or the failures and oppression of others. Jesus is the one who opens the door to God. What he opens, no one can close. What he closes, no one can open. Good news this Christmas is his invitation is wide open to all who would come to him. I wish you a happy Christmas.
Yes, a very Merry Christmas to you all.
The time is working backwards, 27 minutes to 7. Is that right? Yes, it is. Still to come, a heavyweight showdown in Miami. And the big hands up there and the little hands over there.
It's easier just to say 6:33.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to... I know. There we go. We're going to talk about sport next.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
I think a lot of you at home are going to be quite annoyed with this. Now, Tesco, the big supermarket chain, appears to have got rid of the famous Christmas trees, instead renaming them evergreen
trees.
Evergreen
There's
trees.
the evergreen tree.
Here we are. So if you're listening on the radio, these are pictures of their boxes of artificial Christmas trees without the word Christmas on them at all, instead calling them evergreen trees. There are still a number of Christmas trees available called Christmas trees. But I think it has clearly annoyed quite a lot of people. Why do you call them evergreen trees? Can't you just call them Christmas?
Just call them Christmas trees. I call them Christmas trees even outside of the time of Christmas. If they look like a Christmas tree, I call them a Christmas tree, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And the Conservative leader of the London Assembly, Susan Hall, she's told The Telegraph, it's Christmas. It's a Christmas tree. People don't tend to put up green plastic fir trees for any other reason. It's all stupid nonsense about offending other people and other religions. Well, below that, this is supposed to be a Christian country. We have Christmas. Let's celebrate it, says Susan Hall.
Actually, other religions are not offended by the celebration of Christmas in a Christian country. You speak to Hindus and Buddhists and the vast majority of Muslims, they're not in the slightest bit bothered and actually will join in those celebrations as well. It doesn't offend them. But what you've got are marketing divisions within these big companies where you've got Tarquin and Tabitha who feel that we must, you know, do what we can do to not offend the great British public. And the great British public are the ones that are actually buying the product and they're not in the slightest bit offended.
Can I just say it offends me that we've got Christmas already and it's not December.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
6:36 and Aidan's got the sport, so we're just settling back in. We're just leaning back having a gossip.
We were having a little bit of a stretch, and then Aidan came in
with bad jokes.
Yeah,
no, not me.
But anyway, look, big fight happened. Finished a couple of hours ago?
Yeah, a bit of a joke in itself, I would argue. But I mean, look, it's live sports, so it's good for us to cover it. It falls into our lap. But goodness me, it's difficult to know, Penny, whether you're operating in reality or not.
Because this is a Netflix fight.
Netflix fight, yeah. There's no belt on the line. It's YouTuber Jake Paul who's made his name. I think 14 bouts now, fights including today. Anthony Joshua, much more celebrated, much higher calibre opponent, a world-class opponent who's been world heavyweight champion twice. So in theory, it should have been over in seconds. That's what was predicted to happen. It ended up as a 6th round stoppage. And look, I mean, let me get the numbers here in terms of the actual audience. I mean, 65 million concurrent streams. That's just streams. 108 million average live viewers worldwide while the fight was going on. Absolutely extraordinary. £200 million is what the purse was worth. I mean, that doesn't just get split equally between the fighters. I was told last week that Anthony Joshua will walk away with around about $50 million. So it's a hell of a purse, hell of a payment for a short night's work. But it was probably longer than he wanted it to be. And as I say,
someone said, that true? Do you
somebody said to me, covering this is going to be like covering WWE. I said, well, not really, because we know that WWE is fake. Yeah. It's entertainment. Now, this is kind of a hybrid version, because if this had happened and Anthony Joshua had lost today, we're talking about probably the biggest upset in sport. But it didn't look like it in the ring. I mean, look, Jake Paul got in there. He didn't engage with Joshua for the first couple of rounds. I mean, the punch ratio, I mean, he hit 6 punches in 3 rounds, Jake Paul.
Sorry, I've now got a comedy scene going on in my head. Well, I haven't watched it, but did they just run around the ring?
Yes, basically, it was a 21-foot ring, so that suits Jake Paul, so he was able to stay away from him. Yes, OK, he's got good reach. Anthony Joshua, it served him well throughout his career, but you can only reach so far. And he chased him around, and that's a spectacle. I just wonder whether this was the night that we jumped the shark. In the sense, that's the phrase we used. I can't remember which programme it came from. It came from the Fonz, I think, didn't it? Where they had a shark in the sea. Someone jumped over it and they said, "Oh, that's a bit too unrealistic," and they stopped watching it. And so I think this is the night that may have happened. But Jake Paul has said he's going to take a break, and I wonder if that will just recharge everybody to kind of get the circus going again, because sooner or later it's going to run out of gas. It's not going to matter that much because someone's made so much money out of it so far. But if they want to try and move it on again and make more money... Do you remember the film Blair Witch Project?
Yes,
1999.
yeah.
This is what that's like, because to me that was the most overhyped film of all time.
It was terrible. It wasn't even that creepy. I get creeped out by I jump if somebody drops a cup.
Yes.
You know. But I found it.
Or the microwave pings.
What? I don't even have a microwave. Why is it pinging? I agree with you.
It was the most overhyped film ever.
Yeah.
We all watched it. Nothing happened. There were no big performers in it or anything like that. And then the Blair Witch Project 2, which came out about 18 months later or 2 years later, nobody watched it. And I wonder if you could only fool the public
once
for so long. Look, he's done it more than once, Jake Paul, and Anthony Joshua's got very rich out of it. He's rich anyway, but he's added to his already considerable bank balance with today's fight. He called out Tyson Fury in the ring afterwards. We kind of know that's going to happen anyway next summer. But if this was meant to be a tune-up fight, a warm-up for Tyson Fury next summer, goodness me, he's going to have to, I don't know, he's going to have to do some serious sparring between now and next summer because he was out of the ring for 15 months, Anthony Joshua, and he looked very rusty today.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see two people running around a ring, we could do that, couldn't we?
We could do.
I mean,
I'd ref.
I look great. I look great in boxing gloves.
Bet you do.
Do you?
Yeah.
You have to get some new socks.
I'm just...
I like a wrinkly sock.
What went wrong for AJ, though? I mean, there was all this talk about it actually being so dangerous for Jake Paul and all the rest of it, and AJ just didn't seem to...
Look, it looked the first couple of rounds, it looked choreographed. Now, you know the best thing about this from their point of view is that no one can prove that. No one knows what's discussed when the contract was arranged. No one sees the contract. No one sees the clauses or whatever.
It'll come out, though, wouldn't it? It'd come out eventually, unless you've just got two people...
When the money's been safely deposited in their accounts.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, maybe then...
But I don't know, because I think it's not in the sport's interest. Because boxing sneers at this, real boxing sneers at this in private. But in public, they think, well, hang on a minute, they're bringing new eyes to the sport. They're increasing the purses. The fighters are getting rich off the back of it. So I think it's going to keep on rolling.
Yeah, probably will. All right,
lots more later on.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, still to come, Angela Rayner is going to release a tell-all memoir, apparently. Oof, heck, we'll get more on that in the papers in just a moment. But first, if you want to check out the weather in Europe, here's the
there they are.
European forecast.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're heading off over the Christmas holidays, I'm afraid the weather across much of Europe is very unsettled. Heavy rain and also some thunderstorms, very unusual for this time of the year. In particular, southern parts of France, also southern areas of Italy are going to see quite a lot of rainfall over the coming days. This quite heavy at times, bringing in some hail and thunder and possibly some strong gusty winds. Heading into next week, there will still be some spells of rain, but plenty of sunshine across Tenerife with temperatures in the low 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Right, newspapers now. What's in them?
I don't know.
We shall find out. Kevin Schofield and Metal Sunday editor-at-large Charlotte Griffiths are both here. And if we can kick off then with this incredible story, Kevin, about the this is in the Telegraph, where the EU students owe the UK £5 billion in unpaid loans.
Yeah, so this was so pre-Brexit, EU students were entitled to take out loans if they were studying in the UK.
Presumably like we were if we went to go and study.
Yeah, exactly. There'd have been a reciprocal arrangement. But obviously that ended after we left the European Union. And figures released by the Student Loans Company shows that there still is £5 billion worth of outstanding unpaid loans. Now, what the point they're making in the story is that it's easier to get the money back from British students because it comes automatically through PAYE out of your salary once you hit the right threshold to start repaying. But if they're abroad, obviously it's much more difficult. And the fact that we're no longer in the EU, then that makes it much more difficult as well. Yeah, it's money obviously that's owed to the UK, and it's I'd imagine ultimately we will get it back, but over a very lengthy period of time. And what some people are saying is we should have maybe used this as some sort of leverage as part of the EU reset that the government is... Because at the moment, if you remember, during the week there, we went back into the Erasmus student exchange scheme, but it's going to cost potentially £1 billion a year.
So, yes, you're right. Yeah.
So, you know, they could have come to some sort of arrangement, is what they're saying.
Well, that's definitely what the Telegraph is saying, is, hold on a minute, we're rejoining the Erasmus scheme, but hold on, where's all this missing millions? Because in 2013, there was only 0.7 billion that was lost in the system. So it's quite a big jump to 5.8 billion.
5.8
and really, I
by
disagree with Kevin. I don't think we're going to get that money back. You know, these people are lost into Europe somewhere. You know, they don't want to...
Well, it's a contractual arrangement. I mean, you know, they take out the loan and they agree to repay it. So, but is it worth the hassle of chasing them?
It costs more. This is the stupid thing, it costs more to chase it up sometimes.
Exactly.
Let that go. Charlotte, can we have a look at the Mail and the book we're all looking forward to next year from Angela Rayner, our Ange.
Angela Rayner's releasing a book. Apparently she's got £100,000 from it. She'll obviously get a huge advance and then a ghostwriter will do all the hard work for her and write it. But she is going to narrate the Audible version, so that'll be, you know, a few hours in the studio. I think this is very...
Do you not think that'll be a relaxing as you're trying to drift off to sleep?
Well, she's not... I mean, look, she hasn't got much of a broadcast voice, has she?
Well, do you remember when Prince Harry narrated Spare and it went horribly wrong because he was describing some very intimate moments from his past? It doesn't sound right hearing the actual author say it.
Icky, yeah.
So I wonder whether it'll be icky for Rayner.
And also, of course, she has got an extraordinary backstory.
Well, there'll be some real interesting stuff in it, I would have thought. I mean, her upbringing, very poor upbringing, single mother at 16. You know, there's a lot... Not your average politician, really, and I think that's part of our appeal to a lot of voters.
But is this part of the thing? Is this about resetting her image? And away from not paying certain taxes to being, you know, climbing up the greasy pole to be a worthy successor to Keir Starmer.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of the chapters dedicated to explaining herself, won't there? Of course, that's really what this is all about. She's being paid to do her own PR, so, you know,
I don't think it's too much of a leap to think that this is connected to the fact that we all expect Keir Starmer to face some sort of leadership challenge at some point next year, after May. And there's no doubt Angie Rayner would be in there with a very good shout if she stood, and if it went to the Labour Party members. Ultimately, I think she'd be in a really good position.
We've got 100 grand that looks like there's 100 grand for her. Meanwhile, could we be just, Kevin, doing contactless card payments for unlimited amounts? This, can I just say, terrifies me. Because apart from anything else, my local coffee shop, we were busy having a natter, puts in her thing, I hand over I just do the old tap and it goes ping, and it's because she's accidentally, instead of the whatever it was that I had paid for, she'd put 2 noughts on the end.
Oh, God.
So instead of my £4, it was £400. Now, with unlimited,
it would have just gone through.
Yeah.
I'd have gone a ping, and we'd have both gone ha ha ha, and then I'd have gone in the next day and gone, by the way, I've just realised that you paid 400 quid, and what?
Well, no, I agree. So, I mean, I remember way back in the dim and distant past when you had to sign. Remember that with your card? And then they brought in chip and pin because signing it made it too easy for fraud. So chip and pin was meant to guard against it. But that's gone now. I mean, still, now it's contactless. But I hadn't realised.
It was a £10 limit when contactless came.
I'd forgotten that. So it was that was 2007. It was a £10 limit fine. Then it went up to 15, then 20, then 30. Then during COVID, it went up to 45. Then 100 in 2021, and now they're just saying no limit.
And now they're saying no limit.
Now you can, if you want, put in your own limit.
That's what I'm
that's what you'll need to do.
Phew. OK, I'm all right then.
But I'm going to put a £5 limit on my coffees because it shocks me that you even paid £4. Because these days a coffee in those coffee shops is £5. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you should go to a coffee shop. It's really good coffee.
How many people are going to bother putting a limit on, though?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a bit of a hassle, and you lose your card, and all of a sudden somebody's tapping away.
Well, it's fine. I mean, I haven't got a limit if I use my phone. But
yes, that's true.
So that's unlimited. But of course, you're using your fingerprint to open the phone in the first place. So there's that level of security.
Yeah. But they're saying they're moving it, and that's people just want the convenience now. They just don't want the hassle. And they're happy
also, supermarket shops are. You know, I did my Christmas supermarket shop the other day. I did the chip and pin, the tap, and they said, "Oh, it's over £200."
What?
But it was the big Christmas shop. I've got 17 people coming. The crackers.
17.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
Anyway, and also supermarket shops are just creeping up and creeping up. So I just wonder whether that's a reason. Obviously not Christmas, thankfully, every December I won't be spending £200. But I wonder whether that's part of the reason is because the bills are going up, so they've got to increase the limit.
There's no doubt about that.
Now, can I just say that Stephen came in this morning and I said, you've done a bit of a shaving thing there, and he went, no, it's the cat.
The cat.
The cat who tries. It doesn't scratch deliberately.
No, he's just trying to give me a lick, but he's got to the point where from my head, he likes to lick my nose, and if my head's in the wrong direction, he dips his claw in and pulls it. Now, apparently, I've got scratches down there.
Oh, he pulls you towards him. That's quite romantic in a very strange way.
He's 19, bless him.
19?
Anyway, listen, this is a long-winded way of saying, Charlotte, how to make Yuletide perfect for your cat. OK, Stephen, listen.
Right, I'm listening.
OK.
So cats get quite stressed out by Christmas because there's baubles everywhere. You've rearranged the furniture, and they like the chair. You know how fussy cats are. They like the chair to be where they like the chair, and there's too much funny smells going around. You know, you light your cinnamon candle. Cats don't like that. So they're saying it's actually very stressful for cats. Maybe that's why he's licking your face so much because he's
pulling it towards him so she can lick your nose. Right. So
it doesn't appear to be stressed, but what should we do about it?
I suppose leave all your furniture exactly where it was. Don't put up a Christmas tree. Don't in any way celebrate Christmas. That's on brand for cats. They don't like a fuss, do they? They just like everything to stay exactly the same and be a bit Grinch-like. That's kind of why I love cats, is they're kind of no fun in a good way.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I can't notice. I mean, Timmy hasn't got stressed. He doesn't get stressed about anything.
How would you know, though?
He's
Does he nibble his...
chilled.
Does he sit there nibbling through his nails?
He's just asleep most of the time.
When I left this morning, our cat had taken my position on the bed beside my wife. So he was not stressed at all. He was fast asleep. He was quite glad I'd gone.
Yeah.
She was as well.
in the bedroom.
They are so quick, aren't they, animals, to leap into the warm spot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He looked great.
I mean, you've barely put a foot out when they're eyeing it up.
Oh, yeah.
In light, Flynn.
Oh, well, sweet. So look after your cat this Christmas. Thank you both very much indeed. We'll see you later.
On a critic has the weather now.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, South East England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain, and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall, some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here, also still very blustery around western coast to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
This Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. And we've come to the fabulously festive Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate. £85,000 of tax-free cash really could be yours.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Patrick Christie's Tonight. Weekdays from 9 p.m.
Look, this is winter. It's flu. Flu comes in winter. Sure as eggs is eggs. There's nothing particularly special about the virus. It has mutated, but that change has made it able to spread through the community by defeating our existing immunity. But the virus itself remains the same in terms of its clinical impact. So while it's a problem at a community and population level, lots of cases, for people who catch this, it's no worse than normal seasonal flu. It's not like we've got a supercharged flu that makes people much iller. We've got a virus that's spreading better and it's come earlier. So we're seeing it rising up the sort of infectious disease rates faster for this time of year. And there are a number of reasons for that, partly because it is a different virus, it's mutated. We haven't seen this particular strain spread for a couple of years. So population immunity levels are quite low. That's why it's
so
spreading more.
what you said there, very calm, very rational, quite reassuring, to be honest with you, seems very logical, understandable. Earlier today, the BBC decided to do a report that looked a lot like this. Let's play the clip.
The throwback, isn't it? We were used to wearing these a few years ago. Now this is the precaution being taken. Also, people are being told to make sure their hands are clean and that they're not bringing germs into the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we haven't got time to play it all, but she goes on to, like, you know, use the hand sanitizer. Again, I'm just wondering if it's a little bit fearmongery.
Well, look, we must take flu seriously because it's a fact that if we tot up the excess mortality in the wintertime, just in the UK, and we attribute a lot of this excess mortality to flu, in an average year, maybe 5,000-6,000 people will lose their lives to flu. And in a bad year, it might be as high as 20,000. So we don't take this lightly. We're not complacent about flu.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Good morning. Thousands of files linked to Jeffrey Epstein have been released following mounting pressure on the White House.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Bill Clinton are amongst the many high-profile individuals pictured.
It marks the latest and largest release of information so far relating to Epstein and his associates, but it's just a fraction of the total.
Retailers report a disastrous December after the government's £30 billion budget tax raid, prompting questions over whether the Chancellor has stolen Christmas.
The author and actor David Walliams dropped by his publisher following allegations he harassed junior female colleagues. He denies all the claims.
With 1 in 8 Britons expected to be claiming disability benefits by the end of the decade, we'll be debating whether it's time for a crackdown.
You know, packages just dumped. Yesterday, for example, I found an every parcel just in the gutter.
And missing deliveries are causing concern as Christmas parcels disappear nationwide.
It's all over in Miami, where Anthony Joshua has forced the 6th round stoppage against Jake Paul in their World Heavyweight contest. It's a big day in the Premier League too, with Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea all in action today. We'll have updates from the cricket in Adelaide and the darts at the Ali Pali.
It's the last weekend before Christmas, but is it going to be dry or wet? Stay tuned and I'll be here with all the details.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, I've got you two sorted.
Have you?
Yeah, because there's this thing in the, what's it in? The Sun.
The Sun, of course.
This morning, which is about hangover cures.
Right, OK. I don't think I'll be needing any hangover cure, but just so that I know.
What works and what doesn't. A gentle walk is quite good.
Sleep, says
Sweating out alcohol in a sauna will make you worse.
Yeah, because it's dehydration, isn't it? Hangovers are all about dehydration. Because there you are, you're at the party, you're dancing on the tables, fueled with tequila and various other
It's a diuretic as well, isn't it?
It's a diuretic, so you're all dehydrated, then you go and stick yourself in a sauna, of course you are. Come out like a withered prune.
Apple cider vinegar is quite
With the
good.
mother.
With the mother. Yeah.
Does it have to be with the mother?
Well, it doesn't. Well, it helps with the mother.
OK, right.
Which is the skin and all the pulp and everything.
OK.
So that's quite good for you. A cold...
Oh, there I was. Sorry.
So you're thinking with your mother?
I was just thinking, why does my mum have to keep going around to people's houses just to watch them take apple cider vinegar? Sorry, there we go.
No, it's with mother.
Yes, you mean with mother like a sourdough.
Yes.
OK,
Yes.
right.
And a cold shower is very good, apparently.
No, there's no
I mean,
way
can you
of
imagine a cold shower with a hangover? It's the last thing you want to do.
No, you wouldn't be doing that.
Well, it's like when footballers come off the pitch and they go for an ice bath. Similar kind of thing, get the lactic
Yeah, but you're all hot and sweaty then, aren't you? So
Yeah, I
actually
guess so,
an ice bath probably wouldn't be quite so bad. I mean, I'd never choose to.
No.
Fingers would drop off.
So there you go. But actually, just saying there that a fried breakfast is not a bad solution.
And I would go tick, tick, tick and give it a 5-star review. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Right, our main news this morning. Hundreds of thousands of files linked to Jeffrey Epstein have been released in the States, though officials say it's actually only 10% of the total.
Amongst the latest documents are photographs of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and former US President Bill Clinton.
Well, in one image, the former president is pictured by a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell. In another, he's in a hot tub with an unidentified woman.
Andrew, meanwhile, is seen laying down on the laps of 5 women.
We've got to remind you, of course, that being named in the files or being pictured in the files does not imply any wrongdoing.
Republican commentator Nora Lee Knotson joins us now. Morning to you. I think many people will be surprised that so far we have only seen this is only 10% of the amount of files that are available.
That's correct. It's only 10%. And a lot has been redacted. Apparently 200 lawyers have to review everything. And the statement is that the redactions relate to some of the victims, some of the relatives' victims, and they're still going through all the documents to make sure that the people that need to be protected are protected. But clearly there are a lot of question marks. Who else is going to appear? There's been Michael Jackson, there's been Sergey Brin, Bill Gates, there's been Richard Branson. There has also been Mick Jagger. There have been a lot of celebrities, and we know Epstein's reach was very far and wide, and it doesn't mean they're implicated in anything. Most famously, that was in the headlines today, of course, was Bill Clinton in a, I believe, whirlpool or hot tub with a lady. But what's interesting is there were some FBI comments about looking for passports to confirm that the girls were actually young, underage girls. But that's what we know right now. This is clearly also a distraction from Trump going around with his 3 days of speeches and rallies, trying to focus on affordability, trying to focus on the economy ahead of midterms. So it's changing the focus right now.
Yeah. I mean, the concern is with all of this, I mean, particularly with the redactions, I mean, we're being told the redactions are only what is necessary to protect victims and in some cases, national security, supposedly. But it's about trusting those redactions, and I wonder if anybody actually does.
That's a very good question. It is about trusting, and drip feed is not the best way to present the information. It would most likely behoove everybody just to have it all out at once, what can be out. But we don't know what's to come. We expect that nothing's going to implicate Trump, but there's probably a lot of very big donors that perhaps are being protected by the way the information is being released.
Yeah, that is the excuse me, that is the difficulty, isn't it? It's about this it's about this drip feeding, and if you've got 200, you say 200 lawyers going through this. I mean, you wonder whether if they'd actually increase the amount of lawyers, given them a spread, I don't know, had them sort of sitting there like counters at a vote at a ballot box, and just had everything out at the same time, this would be so much better.
You're absolutely right. And of course, bottom line, this is really about justice for the victims. That's what it should be about. That's what some of the Republican politicians have been pushing for, is just the justice for the victims that got involved in this sad Epstein saga of abusing young underage women.
But you've got to say, looking at it all, though, it all looks pretty grim, doesn't it? I mean, all these pictures and everything else, they may not imply any wrongdoing. There's nothing of any great revelation in this release so far, but it all looks a bit awful.
It looks awful, but let's remember, Epstein was a very social person, threw a lot of parties. I'm sure we've all gone to parties where there may have been questionable people at those parties. It doesn't mean we're involved in any of their questionable activities. So we must keep it in context. Being in a photo with somebody who's charged of heinous crimes doesn't mean that you were involved in those heinous crimes. But of course, the Democrats are going to use this, it's gunpowder for them, to distract from Trump and Trump's mission of focusing on America first, peace, protecting the borders, and of course, focusing on the economy. So the drip feed is not going to be helpful.
Yeah, except that the other way of looking at it is that there are all these pictures of Bill Clinton, so there will be people saying, well, hold on a second, Bill Clinton's in there. And so there are going to be pictures, aren't there? There are going to be photographs. You wonder whether Donald Trump wouldn't prefer it if any photographs with him in them were out already.
I think there have been some photographs of him and his wife that were framed, that were in Epstein's home, I believe, came out. But again, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that he had a huge network.
Yeah. All right, Nora Lee Knutson, as always, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, this is the problem with all of this. I know people want to get to the truth of what went on. I wonder if we ever will.
The problem is that the further and further away that we get from, well, let's face it, from his death and from that initial horror of discovering what had been going on, the further it goes away, the more people, people, that things move on, and it's about justice for people who are getting older every year, isn't it? It's about justice being kicked down the road all the time.
Yeah, it's not actually helping. And I know victims have said they're not happy with this release so far.
Exactly, and also the heavy redaction. They're saying that so much has been redacted. There we go. And you've got to trust it. If stuff is blacked out, you need to trust that it's been done for the right reasons. And would we trust it if it happened over here with politicians involved? Probably not, would we? I don't think we would, because we've learnt that sometimes, things are as they seem. Anyway, we shall see what happens when the next load come out. In the meantime, just to cheer you up, we're asking this morning if the Chancellor's stolen Christmas. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But the budget, Rachel Reeves' last budget, is being criticised for, it would seem, keeping us shoppers off the high street. This was after the £30 billion tax rise. Recent figures suggesting that consumers are being cautious with their spending. Yeah, it's all a bit grim, isn't it? Let's talk to former Conservative Minister Kevin Foster. I mean, are we able to draw a direct line, Kevin, between what we saw in the budget and a lack of activity on the high street?
I think the line we can draw is between all the speculation we saw ahead of the budget and what's happening on the high street. And we'll probably be able to find out more about the actual impact of the budget itself when we see the figures come out for this month in future. But it's clear that the many months of speculation, if you remember that big speech she gave about, she's going to potentially have to put up income tax. All of this will have had an impact. People don't just listen to this stuff and then not do anything in response. People were hearing it, thought things were going to be tough. And they were, taxes have gone up again, and then pulled back on things like non-essential spending. So, we're going to see all the common claims that, the Chancellor is the Grinch that stole Christmas. But in many ways, it's the speculation as much as what she actually did that has had the impact here. Yes, because by talking down the economy, by constantly going on about this giant black hole that has to be filled. The problem is that everybody immediately starts putting things off. It is amazing how much debt we are in, though, isn't it? When you look at the figures, they are giant. Yeah, this is about the worst year for borrowing, I think, apart from the pandemic year itself. So, you're having to look at comparisons that are times of national emergency to find the government borrowing as much as it has this year. It's clearly not particularly sustainable. Even the Chancellor knows that, hence why she's putting up taxes. Yet, as many would point out, these can be utterly counterproductive if you put up taxes, particularly on businesses, because, Labour didn't make the argument during the general election to put up for individuals to pay more to fund public services, then you can find that people end up becoming unemployed, business activity slows down. Of course, that means you get less tax revenue and more welfare spending on top of the choices to increase welfare spending she's made. And all that then points to a further problem in the public finances. It all points to why she's under extended political pressure, and many Labour MPs probably don't expect Rachel Reeves to be Chancellor this time next year. Oh, you do wonder what we need to do to pull ourselves out of this hole, Kevin, don't you? I mean,
For the likes of us sat here who know a little bit about how things work, but we're certainly far from economists, there would seem to be some sort of pretty simple solutions to get the country going again. And we don't seem to be following any of them at the moment.
Well, there's certainly a range of things that could be done. I think I'll give the government their due. There's no one single simple solution that they could do to revive the whole economy. But there's everything from looking at our energy costs. That does mean taking decisions around things like making more use of UK oil and gas resources. There's looking at our regulatory structure. There is a debate, and actually not just for the UK, but for Europe. Why isn't there a really big European tech company like Google or Facebook? Why is it the USA and China fighting it out over AI technology? The Europeans, not because there's a lack of skills and talent innately amongst people across this continent. It's the fact there's a regulatory structure that's very defensive, has been, everything from focusing on things like bottle tops and other areas, rather than really getting into the challenges of what is the future economy. And it's not new. I'm not going to claim it's suddenly under this government. This is something that's probably been affecting Europe since the financial crash about 16, 17 years ago. So there are some clear debates. Yes, there's some more simple moves like increasing our own national energy supplies, but also some wider discussions we need to have about our economy and how we want it to work in future.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Kevin. Yes, I was just reading the other day about how much I can't remember the figures, because as soon as I'm told a figure, it immediately swims out the other ear. But I was just financing our debt. It's as though our personal, if you think about it in personal terms, it was as though you'd borrowed £10 and we're now paying back £40 for the £10 that we borrowed. It really is just a staggering amount of money that's just going out.
And of course, the worse our economy gets, the worse all these gilt yields that you hear people talk about, means we're paying back more. So the worse our economy gets, the more we have to pay back.
I know.
So it's just getting everything just compounds. It gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it's not like compound interest, which it is compound interest, but it's also compound appallingness.
Yeah. It's pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see if we can cheer you up just for a moment, though I don't know it's going to work. But let's try, at least, with the weather and Honor Krizik.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland, may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, South East England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain, and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall, some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here, also still very blustery around western coast to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Oh, look at the time. It's cracking on. 18 minutes past 7, and it's time for the Great British Giveaway now. Your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date, 85 grand. 85 grand.
Beautiful, tax-free.
Beautiful, tax-free. Hayley Sparks has been on a magical trip to Lapland, has all the details.
A very Merry Christmas to you all from the Aurora Collection Resort in Lapland. We're on an amazing Arctic adventure to celebrate our greatest cash giveaway, a simply stunning £85,000. And this Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win it all. With an extra £85,000 in your bank, you'll be able to indulge in luxury, do those things you've only ever dreamed about. Even tick a few experiences off the bucket list. One lucky viewer is guaranteed to win £85,000 in tax-free cash. And it really could be you, so don't miss out this Christmas.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yeah, best of luck to you on that one. Now, still to come, with 1 in 8 Britons projected to be on disability benefits by the end of the decade, we're going to be debating whether we really need stricter measures now. That's coming up next.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device, and as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversations.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Now, it's 7:23, and apparently, now these are the figures from the Department for Work and Pensions, by 2030, 1 in 8 people will be claiming disability benefits.
1 in 8. That is an estimated 8.7 million people relying on disability-related welfare as the next decade begins.
So this morning we're asking, is it really time? Do we have any choice but to crack down on benefits?
Joining us now is Research Associate for the Adam Smith Institute, Vigo Turling, and academic and broadcaster Lisa McKenzie. Good morning to you both. If I can ask you, Vigo, is it time for a crackdown on benefits then?
Good morning. And yes, it certainly is. And I was deeply unsurprised by this forecasted increase in the disability benefit claimant rate. And I think it shows the extent to which an overgenerous welfare system cannot coexist in a country like Britain that is facing its highest tax burden on record. And American economist Arthur Laffer makes clear as to why. We use sin taxes on things like cigarettes and alcohol to deter people from smoking and drinking. But that same effect can be applied to income and employment. When we overly tax those two things, we can discourage people from employing others, we can discourage people from working. And you can also reach a double negative that occurs when you both do those things and you also give people money to not work. And that is the situation that has befallen us in Britain. We now have a welfare system that, rather than ensuring against misfortune, it is actively replacing work. And the result of that is a 3-child family in Tower Hamlets can earn up to £82,000 a year on benefits alone. A person claiming housing benefit, the PIP and universal credits, can earn £3,000 more than a full-time minimum wage worker. The issue with this is the generosity of our welfare system is encouraging people to remain economically inactive. In fact, we are the only G7 country to be more economically inactive than before the pandemic, and 50% of those on disability benefits fear joining the workforce if it means they will lose their benefits and have it taken away from them. So therefore, yes, the welfare system needs reform. To both boost productivity.
All right, thanks, Vigo. Lisa, what do you make of that? I mean, it's a fair point, isn't it, when your work doesn't pay, when actually it is economically more beneficial for people not to work.
Yeah, and you know what? I would agree with that, because work doesn't pay, and that's the point. That our jobs market at the moment is terrible. This idea that somehow people are going to get off benefits and go into work that's going to pay is a nonsense. Where I live in the Red Wall in Nottinghamshire, the unemployment here is very high. Underemployment is extremely high, because what we didn't talk about is the amount of people who are claiming benefits but are also in work as well. So in the 1980s, and I know probably Vigo won't know this, but the Thatcher government, what she did is she moved people off unemployment benefit into disability benefit to hide the unemployment figures. Now, this has always happened with government. They try to hide unemployment figures, and I would argue that that is still happening today. The million people that we've got who are young and not in work, they're unemployed, and they're unemployed because the levels of decent work out there is very low. And when we can talk about roles, but these aren't jobs. I'm talking about full-time, decent jobs that would afford you dignity. Those jobs are not out there. And so therefore, that's why people are sort of moving on to disability benefits, because it is the only way for them to survive. So
but can I just interrupt you for just a moment there, Lisa, because actually, if Vigo is right, I haven't looked at the figures, but if you can actually get £82,000 a year on benefits, frankly, you wonder whether anybody would. Why is anybody bothering to work?
What Vigo's done is taken the worst case scenario. That's what he's done. Most people do not earn that, because we do have a benefit cap. So there is a cap to how much you can actually get on benefits. But if you've got PIP, you've got various other disabilities, you've got Motability car, if you have got everything, which is very few people, then yes, your benefits will probably soar. But for most people, that's not what is happening. So it is a bit disingenuous to use that worst case scenario. Okay. What I would rather see and rather talk about is employment and skills. How are we going to get people into work? Where are those jobs? And are they real jobs, not agency work?
All right. Well, let's try and pull that in a little bit because I want to bring Vigo back. I mean, Lisa makes some fair points. And you've got to have the jobs. You've got to be able to pull people into work. Would that, in your mind, reduce the number of people who want to claim, or do we still need to really crack down and tighten the criteria on who can claim disability benefits?
Yes, well, put simply, we do, because as I explained in my sort of opening remarks, an over-generous welfare state discourages people from entering the labour market. But also, regarding the topic of unemployment specifically, our welfare state is not fit for purpose in that regard either. If you look at a country like Sweden, for example, where I currently am, Sweden's welfare state is far more fit for purpose in terms of getting people from unemployment back into the workforce. In fact, that figure is about at 90% compared to Britain, where that figure has fallen from 30 to 20% of people who regain employment after 12 months. So we don't just have an issue with welfare stifling productivity, but our actual welfare state, the one we currently have, is not fit for purpose in terms of actually helping people get back into employment and contributing again to the economy as they should be doing.
Just very briefly then, what do they do there that we don't do, that you say is much more fit for purpose?
Yeah, so in Sweden, a system they use in Sweden, which I think is far better to the one we have in the UK, is that in Sweden you have a voluntary, broadly privately managed income insurance-based unemployment benefit, if you want to call it that. How it functions is people in Sweden, 73% of the workforce, in fact, they contribute a small portion of their salary to this insurance scheme. And then when they become unemployed, that is what pays into their unemployment benefit. And what's good with the scheme in Sweden is that it has a taper off and it finishes after 300 days. So it creates a sense of urgency for unemployed individuals to get back into the workforce. And that is why Sweden has such a drastically higher percentage of people that are employed again after about 12 months.
OK, right, we do have to leave it there, you two, I'm afraid, because we're out of time. But Vigo Turling, Lisa McKenzie, good to talk to both of you this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what I found interesting with that is they both agree there's a problem. It's whether it's chicken and egg, isn't it?
Or carrot and stick.
Or carrot and stick. You know, do you increase the number of jobs and what you pay to get people out of benefits, or do you reduce the benefits to get people into work? Yeah. And you take your choice on which way you come down on that, really.
Now, the time is just after 7:30. We're going to do the sport in just a short while. Heavyweight showdown taking place in Miami overnight.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This Christmas, we're inviting you to join the GB News family for an occasion filled with joy. A chance to come together and lift our voices and celebrate what truly brings us closer at this time of year. So whether you're with friends or family or simply in the spirits of the season, we would love to share this special night of carols with you. Carols by Candlelight. Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
7:35. Let's get the sport with Aidan. What's the latest, Aidan?
Well, look, I want to focus on Man United. We did the boxing last hour. We'll touch on it again later on in throughout breakfast. But for now, a big day of the Premier League today. Manchester United in action tomorrow at Aston Villa, but they're dominating the headlines as they frequently do, and that's because Sir Alex Ferguson has been saying they're not going to win the Premier League title for another 10 years. Now, this is interesting because Fergie doesn't speak very often unless he's got a book to promote. But he's out there this week doing an interview somewhere and he's saying that I think what he was trying to do was trying to take the pressure off the manager, to say, give him some time.
Oh, come on.
But 10 years,
it's backfired.
10 years.
I know, it's backfired. Well, it's been how many years now? They won the last one in 2013, and that time has flown. When Fergie took over in '86, they'd not won it since '68, I believe. So that was that he had to deal with that. When they finally did it, I think it was 26 years when they won it in 1994.
What did he have then that nobody else has been able to replicate?
Time. The key thing was that he didn't win a trophy for the first 4 years. In fact, they were pretty abject in those first 4 years. They did finish second in '87, '88, finishing second to Liverpool, who were way out in front that year. But he changed around the team so much. In fact, the transfer policy was almost throw mud at the wall and hope some of it stuck. Eventually, some of them began to pay off. Gary Pallister, excellent signing. Paul Ince, Peter Schmeichel, Paul Parker. They brought Mark Hughes back from Bayern Munich. Fergie said he should never have been sold in the first place. But he got time. Nowadays, I don't think even the most generous... I mean, United are still pretty generous with their time of managers, but 2 years now is the absolute maximum. Some clubs only give you 3 or 4 months. Clubs like Chelsea don't mess around at all. So I think he's trying to take the pressure off the manager, but it seems to have backfired. And he's also been talking about the sense of entitlement of the club as well. This is Amorim. He's been talking about how Kobbie Mainoo, we'll hear from him in a moment, but Kobbie Mainoo, one of the players, the England players from the Euro 2024, he's not been in the side. He's just not fancied by the manager since he's gone in there a year ago. And his brother was pictured at the Man United-Bournemouth game on Monday saying, free Kobbie Mainoo. And he's saying, put him in the team. Let's hear what Amorim had to say ahead of tomorrow's visit of Aston Villa on that very subject.
I think it's the feeling, a little bit the feeling of entitlement that we have in our club. And sometimes strong words is not bad words. Sometimes difficult moments is not the bad things for the kids. We don't need to be always with accolades in everything, in every situation. We are not helping. That's why you guys talk about a lot of players nowadays that they speak and they go against the clubs and everything happened because they feel entitlement. And then you have legends of the club saying that if you don't play, leave.
So is it actually true then that standards have gone down since Alex Ferguson?
I would say so. I mean, almost immediately. I mean, players were giving interviews within a few years saying that young players were allowed to, having previously only been allowed to wear black boots, they started coming in on the ones that their sponsors wanted them to wear. This was players under the age of sort of 18.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing really on the face of it. They're not going to make you play any better or worse, but Fergie just thought that players of 17, 18, even younger than that, shouldn't have commercial deals and they should be concentrating on their football, not looking snazzy in their boots. It was an old school mentality, but it was just those subtle kind of...
Sometimes that just works, doesn't it?
It does, it does.
So it's like actually that theory about, for example, at school, if you all have the same school uniform, nobody can try
Exactly. And David Moyes was the first manager in there in 2013. He'd already come from Everton, who were a big club, but this is the problem. These managers don't understand when they go in there just how big Manchester United is. You're not a football fan, Stephen, but you know, living in the Northwest, growing up in the Northwest, United are huge, you know, so globally. And so Alex Ferguson did his first... David Moyes, when he took over from Alex Ferguson, did his first commercial tour back in 2013, back over in the Far East, I think. He got on the plane afterwards and said to the players, it's a big club, this, isn't it? He couldn't believe what the demands were on his time outside of playing. So, yeah, standards have declined. It's a big job to turn it around. That was Amrim speaking just then. They play Aston Villa tomorrow.
Can we just, before we let you go, the fight happened overnight.
Yes.
It was a bit of a... I mean, AJ won, great.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a washout, though.
Yeah, it was a bit. Slight updates. Jake Paul is in hospital having treatment for a broken jaw, so we wish him well in his recovery. He's going to take a break from boxing anyway. I don't think it looks good for AJ that it went to the 6th round, although he was a comfortable winner in the end. And if you look at the punch ratio in the first couple of rounds, it looked choreographed to me, but they will insist till the cows come home that that's not the case.
All right. OK. Aidan, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah. Now, when was the last time that you offered your builder a brew? You'd be shocked how many don't bother. I always, first thing, as soon as they come through the door, do you want a cup of tea? Yeah. No, you're not having biscuits. I'm not having biscuits in the house. I'd just eat them.
Anyway, that aside, we'll get more from Charlotte and Kevin as they take us through the papers in just a moment. First, if you're heading off to Europe, here's the forecast.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're heading off over the Christmas holidays, I'm afraid the weather across much of Europe is very unsettled. Heavy rain and also some thunderstorms, very unusual for this time of the year. In particular, southern parts of France, also southern areas of Italy are going to see quite a lot of rainfall over the coming days. This quite heavy at times, bringing in some hail and thunder and possibly some strong gusty winds. Heading into next week, there will still be some spells of rain, but plenty of sunshine across Tenerife with temperatures in the low 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bowl. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Right, joining us to go through what's making the news, politics editor at the HuffPost UK, Kevin Schofield, and Mail on Sunday, editor-at-large, Charlotte Griffiths. And we posed the question earlier on. Let us answer the question, if we can. When was the last time you served your builder a brew?
Well, I mean, it's just common courtesy, isn't it, that
It
you
is.
should.
Yeah.
Someone comes to your house, you offer them a
Yeah.
cup of tea, but apparently it is a dying art, if you want to call it an art. People are just less considerate, it would appear. Researchers have found 42%, so nearly half, pushing on for half, of people no longer offer their builder a cup of tea. Isn't that incredible?
They call it builder's tea for a reason. It's meant to be offered to builders.
I suppose
I'd never
what
not do that.
I can understand is that sometimes you think, I just want you to get on with the work.
That's what millennials say. In this report, it says millennials.
No. Are you
specifically?
Always, yeah.
Suddenly a millennial?
No.
It said that millennials specifically cite the reason they don't do it is because they want them to work harder, and they think if they're drinking tea, it slows them down. So
I would say you give them a cup of tea, they work harder.
Well,
there's also a geographical...
It's always the first thing we say when they come in the house. Do you want a brew?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a northern thing as well, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually get offended when they say no. Sometimes they say, oh, I've got my own cup in the van. And I say, well, you know, I'm just turning
wrong
down
with
my
that
good
tea?
hosting here. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, it says here that people from... I can't believe this at all. People from Scotland, London and Wales are the meanest.
No, well, that comes as no surprise.
That's basically the whole
54...
Having known you this long.
54% of Londoners and 50% of Scots. Only 44% of Welsh, they're well behind, won't offer one. But there's an age thing as well, and the older generation, so baby boomers, are 59 and over, are much more likely to offer.
Do you know what? I had to have an electrician, put in this overhead thing, and I was just so terrified, and I wanted to make sure that he was going to do a really decent job, because obviously I can't go and tidy things up afterwards. I even made a stovetop coffee.
Oh,
fancy.
How fancy.
And if I'd had a whisk, if I'd had any way of making a frothy bit of milk on the top, I'd have done that as well. I just wanted it to be perfect.
He might not have liked that, though, because builders, they want a real builder's tea, you know, 2 or 3 sugars, milk.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want a fancy coffee often, I find.
I know, but no, listen, I'd already offered the tea, and he said he was a coffee drinker, and then I said, are you a coffee drinker who likes Nescafe? Because there are people who like that kind of instant coffee. And he said, no, I prefer it, and I just went, OK.
You got a shishi builder. I charged him.
Well, electrician, but does that count as a... Yes, does that all come under trades?
A tradesman.
People with proper trades.
People with proper jobs.
People who do proper jobs.
Proper jobs, there we go.
People who work for a living.
People to get trades enough now.
No, we have to.
It's such an important... And we rely on them as a nation.
And also with AI coming, things that you do with your hands are going to be really crucial.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, look, can we talk about money, Charlotte? This is in the Mail. We've been talking about it this morning. Rachel Reeves has been accused of ruining Christmas. And it's not even so much from the budget itself, but from all the talking down that we had before the budget. It's put us off spending.
Yeah, it's such a crime. All year, really, she's been talking down the economy. So, of course, inevitably, you get to Christmas and it's the big splurge. It's fantastic for the economy, for shops, because it's their kind of sugar rush when they just go, everyone goes crazy.
Well, they're relying on it as well now.
And they're relying on it. And if this Christmas goes badly, then they will, you know, that will be reflected in shift cuts and job cuts and store closing hours in January. So it's really going to affect all levels of the high street, including the people that work in these shops. And I think, for me, the big problem was the budget was on November the 26th, and then Black Friday was on November the 28th. So people were sort of feeling the fresh doom and gloom with Black Friday. and have never really recovered. I myself, apart from my splurge at the supermarket where I spent £200, you know, I felt myself really holding back this year on my Christmas shopping. And people, I'm sorry to my family, but you're getting one present, not two this year, kind of thing.
I think there are a lot of family discussions going on where people have said, shall we just keep it to a limit?
Yeah.
That's the first time.
Yeah, because there's a lot of uncertainty about next year as well. People don't know what's around the corner, so they're batten down the hatches.
Meanwhile, pubs. I feel so sorry for pubs. Honestly, they're struggling. But there is a pub which feels impossibly full that you have found.
Well, yeah, so there's this vicar called Father Richard Watson, who for the last 12 or 13 years has been doing a thing called carols till closing, and he rocks up at a pub. Now
Is it the same pub or just different pubs?
No, there's he's playing 10 pubs across St Albans.
10 pubs.
10.
And he just turns up with his microphone and just starts belting out carols, and apparently it's incredibly popular. There's a great feature in the Times today, great young people getting stuck into their drink but also singing away. He's all sort of, he's not dressed like your traditional vicar, he's got a kind of leopard print jacket and he's
still got a dog collar on.
Dog collar, but apparently
he's adopting the Bet Lynch sort of approach.
Indeed. So this was in Ye Old Fighting Cocks pub in St Albans, and yeah, they're all having a rare old time. As I say, he's been doing it for a long time, and it's getting more people into the pub and getting people into the spirit of Christmas.
Well,
so
good on him. There is a lot of stuff. I know my church does quite a lot of stuff in the pub.
It's great.
Well,
You might as well go to where the people are rather than expect them to come to church.
Yeah, the vicar's saying there's a strong relationship between alcohol, speaking of getting in the spirits, and the church, and he's kind of embracing that and saying, if it makes you more open and celebrate Christmas a bit more, then have a pint and join in and let's have a sing-along. Fair enough.
And it's a good social, you know, it means church it can be a social event as much as anything else.
It's about community.
And carols are great.
About community.
Carols are fantastic. There's so many brilliant
Good.
carols.
Oh, well, get yourself down the pub, have a chat with the vicar, and have a good time and have a good sing-song.
Absolutely.
I think that's really lovely. This, Charlotte, I'm almost viewing it as a sort of comical item. But it's the EasyJet thing, but it's...
awful.
It's sort of not comical. It's very odd, though.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on this EasyJet flight.
Oh, it's a bit sinister. If it wasn't so sinister, it would be funny in a way, because a family of an elderly British woman in Malaga she died, and they wheeled her onto an EasyJet flight on her wheelchair because they didn't want to pay the repatriation fees, which is about £3,000. So they just pretended that she was sleeping, and she made it all the way onto the plane. I think the plane made it onto the runway before somebody realised, and I think the plane was turned back. And, they just pretended she was asleep. The poor granny had actually died. She was declared dead on the scene when eventually doctors got on board and checked her pulse.
Sorry, so they'd actually got her into a seat?
I think they'd got her up the aisle and onto a seat.
Right. And then it was crew who said...
The crew had their suspicions, but the family around this woman kept saying, she's asleep, she's elderly,
tired.
she's very tired. And then they realised possibly while they were getting her onto the seat,
Because it's pretty unmistakable,
limp.
really. It's difficult to mistake somebody who's died.
But I didn't realise
I
didn't realise it was £3,000.
So it's a lot to
It's a lot.
That is a lot. That is
it is.
money,
And your
isn't it?
holiday insurance might not cover it, and so you can understand the practical reasons, sort of. But at the same time, it is pretty
morbid,
macabre.
I don't know. Did they live out there and they were just trying to get her home, or what? I don't know.
I think that was it. I think an EasyJet flight. Say you get a £50 EasyJet flight. Well, that's a hell of a saving on.
That is a hell of a saving.
But they were never going to get away with it, were they? Really?
No.
And then once even if they'd taken off and arrived,
she'd never have got through passport control at this end.
Good point.
How did she get through it in the first place?
Yeah, it was.
There's so many unanswered questions, but it's a remarkable.
It is a remarkable story, and it's not surprising with people.
She'd have a problem with those e-passport gates, wouldn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're hard enough when you're alive.
Well, exactly.
Now, have we got time to just very briefly touch on a story in The Guardian about number 10 being told, fix youth jobs or risk a lost generation? Just very briefly.
This is Alan Milburn, former Blairite Cabinet Minister, is carrying out a review of the high unemployment rate among young people. And one of the things he suggested is, and it's not very Labour, is that maybe the youth minimum wage is too high, and that therefore means that employers are less likely to take them on because it's a higher cost. Now, that's going to cause an awful lot of anger amongst Labour MPs, and the minimum wage is a big sort of Labour totemic policy, and if there's any suggestion that they would cut it, that'd be a no-no.
All right, you two. Thank you. We'll see you later. Time for the weather.
Yeah.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, South East England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain, and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall, some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here, also still very blustery around western coast to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
A very Merry Christmas to you all from the Aurora Collection Resort in Lapland.
We're on an amazing Arctic adventure to celebrate our greatest cash giveaway, a simply stunning £85,000.
And this Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win it all. So don't miss out this Christmas.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Thank you, Matt. Let's hear now from the King.
This is a season when our thoughts turn to celebrations with our friends and families. In the midst of this festive period, I just wanted to ask you to join me today in finding a special place in your hearts and your minds and prayers for the hundreds of thousands of people across our United Kingdom who receive a cancer diagnosis each year, and for the millions more who love and care for them. I know from my own experience that a cancer diagnosis can feel overwhelming. Yet I also know that early detection is the key that can transform treatment journeys, giving invaluable time to medical teams and to their patients the precious gift of hope. These are gifts we can all help deliver. Throughout my own cancer journey, I've been profoundly moved by what I can only call the community of care that surrounds every cancer patient, the specialists, the nurses, researchers and volunteers who work tirelessly to save and improve lives. But I have also learned something that troubles me deeply. At least 9 million people in our country are not up to date with the cancer screenings available to them. When bowel cancer is caught at the earliest stage, around 9 in 10 people survive for at least 5 years. When diagnosed late, that falls to just 1 in 10. Early diagnosis quite simply saves lives.
A really important thing about GB News, and it's brought something completely different to the landscape.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, the reality is that most British journalists are afraid. That's not GB News.
Journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
We're here to talk about things in a way that have never been broadcast on British airways before.
Do not miss a moment on GB News.
The #1 news channel in the country. Good morning. Thousands of files linked to Jeffrey Epstein have been released following mounting pressure on the White House.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Bill Clinton are amongst the many high-profile individuals who are pictured.
Well, it marks the latest release of information so far relating to Epstein and his associates, although officials say it represents just 10% of the total files.
Retailers report a disastrous December after the government's £30 billion budget tax raid, and that's prompted questions about whether the Chancellor has stolen Christmas.
The author and actor David Walliams dropped by his publisher following allegations he harassed junior female colleagues. He strongly denies all the claims.
You know, packages just dumped. Yesterday, for example, I found an every parcel just in the gutter.
Missing deliveries are causing concern as Christmas parcels go missing nationwide.
It's all over in Miami, where Anthony Joshua has forced a 6th-round stoppage against Jake Paul in their World Heavyweight contest. It's a big day in the Premier League too, with Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea all in action later today. We'll have updates from the cricket in Adelaide and the darts at the Ali Pali.
It's the last weekend before Christmas, but is it going to be dry or wet? Stay tuned and I'll be here with all the details.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith and this is GB News Breakfast. Sorry, we're just giggling away over this. There are a whole load of pictures about couples who are in matching outfits when they've been out and about.
Yes.
Out and about. And when I say matching, I mean there's a picture of Timothée, is it Chalamet?
Timothy's shampoo.
Timothée is the shampoo.
Timothy Chalamet.
Is he pronounced Timothy? He's not,
so.
is he?
Yeah,
I mean, it's T-H-E-E.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right, I don't know. What do I know? Anyway.
Still trying to grow that moustache, isn't he? Bless him. Bless him.
Oh, bless, he really is trying to grow a moustache. Anyway, he's with a woman called Kylie Jenner, and they are wearing, well, they're wearing orange. Both of them are wearing orange, and then they've gone and looked at other people. I don't know who these people are. Some of them are...
Well, there's Sonny and Cher.
No, that's old picture. These are pictures of... Oh, this is Jeff Goldblum. And...
The Beckhams.
Where are the Beckhams? Is that the Beckhams?
That's the Beckhams.
Oh, right, anyway, hold on a second. Here we go.
Yeah, they're all quite old pictures. I don't know, they haven't got any numbers on.
The Ashley Cole and Cheryl Tweedy one is from about 20 years ago.
Oh, yes, some of them are old. Anyway, they're talking about, is the thing to do now, are we doing matchy-matchy? Yeah.
Yes, because we've got Britney and Justin, so that's old.
So that's old, yeah.
Cheryl and Ashley,
right.
That's old. I mean, all these relationships have gone very well. Sonny and Cher. Brad and Gwyneth Paltrow, I'd even forgotten they'd been together.
OK. Do you know what? Were they? I thought that was a lot. Really?
Yeah, well, it must have been, yeah. The only one I like is there's Tom Holland and Zendaya, and I really like Tom Holland. I just think, because I know his dad. Well, let's say no.
Dominic.
He's Dominic, who's the comedian. You'll know him if you're a certain age. He's a
I know.
comedian.
Yeah.
I know he watches GB News.
Oh, really?
Just Dominic Holland.
Oh, hello.
And he's a terrific fella. So I've never met Tom, but it's... I just think it's really cool.
Matching outfits, what do you think? Yes or no?
It's sort of, they've done it in a nice way, but the distinct orange and orange, exactly the same shade.
It is the same shade of orange.
It's
so are you
much.
saying yes to a... No, you're saying no to
a bit more of a subtle match is better.
OK, Aidan, yes or no?
No, can't do it.
No.
Do you not match colours with your lady friend?
No.
No. Look at him. He's not even engaging. Aidan's no. Whatever you're saying, no. No. How are you? No.
Not for me, but you and Ellie match.
Yes, we do, but we don't have the same outfits on.
Well, that would
be
interesting,
just have some slightly matching colours.
Yes,
I've heard you discuss colours before. Discuss what colour you're going to wear.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's coordination, not matching.
And you can tell that we actually didn't have a conversation because that is. Oh, do you think?
No,
I think it's.
no,
I think
that
that's
clashes.
moderate. I think yes, it's a clash.
I think it's clash. Well, it's
Luckily,
like our
it's just a
personalities, isn't it? Only joking.
Yeah. Right. Should we get
We
to?
better add,
we better move
fired.
on to our top news stories.
Yeah, because hundreds of thousands of files linked to Jeffrey Epstein have been released, although officials say, and they were all meant to be out yesterday, they've actually only released about 10%.
10%. That is just such a small amount. But they're saying 200 lawyers are on it, and that's how many have kind of got through. Amongst the latest documents, photographs of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and former US President Bill Clinton.
In one image, Mr Clinton pictured by a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell. Also, we've got pictures of him in a hot tub with an unidentified woman.
Andrew, meanwhile, seen laying down on the laps of 5 women whose faces have been redacted.
We need to remind you, of course, that being named or pictured in the files carries no implication of any wrongdoing whatsoever.
Former Financial Times journalist and author Alan Freeman joins us now. Alan, I think the one thing that we take from this is 10%. I think. I know we're saying that it's a big job. I mentioned 200 lawyers are looking over it, but only 10% when it was supposed to be all of it.
Well, I would just remind everyone that the President of the United States campaigned for the White House saying he would release all of it. Just a few months ago, last February, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi of the United States, said she had the Epstein files on her desk and they would release all of it. And now we see 10%. So in America, we have a term for this in Washington. It's called a cover-up. It's when you deliberately, as a government, it happened in Watergate many years ago, decide to withhold information from the public and the Congress because you have something to hide. Now, you're right to point out that just because we see the faces of Mick Jagger or Bill Clinton doesn't mean they're guilty. And it's worth pointing out that the criminal investigations have been restricted to just 2 people. It's not that Andrew Mountbatten has been indicted in the United States. It's only been Jeffrey Epstein, who was mysteriously found dead with 1 minute of video just as he was dying, missing from the tapes, and Ghislaine Maxwell. And when I was at the FT, we used to investigate Robert Maxwell. And the Maxwell family was a scandalous family with members that went to jail, members that were corrupt. And so here we have Ghislaine Maxwell, who was a dear friend of Melania and Donald Trump and Epstein. And she's in jail for 20 years of prison for basically being a pedophile and a sex trafficker. So what's missing is the question. What's missing is Donald Trump, among other things. And there's over 100 pages that are just black. I've gone through this online, just black, completely cut. So the White House clearly is trying to have it both ways and wants to hide something.
Yeah, I mean, how do we get past this, though, in the sense that, you know, But then the questions will continue because I mean, as you know, if you want to put something to bed to end a story, you either have to release it all or you have to convince people that the redactions are valid.
Well, neither of those things are going to happen. The White House will not release any more. The Congress will huff and puff. There are even some Republicans, like Congressman Tom Massey, who's a Trump supporter, who's demanding the release of everything, but it won't happen. Trump hired his personal lawyer, Pam Bondi, as the Attorney General. Imagine a situation in the UK, it's hard to imagine, where the Prime Minister orders the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice, to not release documents, even though the Parliament has ruled that. You would suspect something was off there, right?
Yeah, I suppose the other way, you know, it is a democracy and people can find things out. Surely, you know, unless it's one person in a darkened room, things leak out. They leak out eventually.
They do eventually. My own belief is that the United States government is in the process or has already illegally destroyed some of the evidence that they possess. We will never probably know everything. But you're right about leaks. And the biggest leak is likely to come from the tabloid gossip writer, Michael Wolff, who has over 100 hours of interviews recorded with Jeffrey Epstein, in which he claims he discusses in depth and at length Donald Trump's own sexual relations with minors at the Epstein Island, and not just Trump. But clearly, until 2029, as long as the U.S. government is run by Donald Trump, we will not see everything released. But you're right. Occasional leaks will emerge, but Epstein is not going away. And so what does Trump do? He tries to change the subject. Don't be surprised if there's a Christmas bombing of Venezuela, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, well, I mean, the trouble is you've got to be careful not to venture into conspiracy theory with all of this. And I mean, and I get your point about what Mr. Wolff has got on tape, but then without any corroborating evidence, you just believe what a man like Jeffrey Epstein tells you.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is everyone will believe what they want. If you're in favor of Trump, you'll believe he's done the right thing. If you're a critic of Trump, you'll believe that he's covering up. That's my view. But you don't need Epstein. I mean, there are 36 women who have credibly accused the President of the United States of sexual molestation, and he's been convicted for rape in a civil case. So, you know, the president is a controversial figure. You like him or you don't like him. You respect him or you don't respect him. There's two sides of the coin.
All right. Alan, we'll leave it there. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, we need to remind you, of course, that being featured, any of those pictures or anything in there is not any indication of wrongdoing.
Absolutely.
And it's... and, you know, whatever Jeffrey Epstein may have said about people in an interview, which we haven't seen, again, it's his word.
It's hearsay. It's
well,
hearsay,
it is hearsay.
and that is it. And it would not stand up in a court of law.
But this is why you want. I mean, you can understand people saying we want to see all the evidence. We want to see all these files.
Exactly, so that we can actually
come to a conclusion.
Yeah, come to a conclusion. Also, we should point out that it's about justice for the women who are involved in this. This is deep down. It's not about. You know, there are some people who say this is just salacious. This is, you know, this is some of this is not in the public interest. The point is, it's about justice for the women.
There are also, I mean, I do know from some of the stuff that has been released overnight, there's some accounts from one young lady who, you know, says she met Trump there several times, but there's no, you know, she doesn't imply that anything else, that anything else went on or anything improper. Just that she met him. And this is the other thing, which I think is... It's why you have to be very careful with this. There's a lot of people who... Epstein was one of those people who liked to surround himself with famous people. And so, I mean, there's everyone and their mother's uncle there being pictured. I think I mean, looked like Diana Ross in one of the pictures there with Bill Clinton
and Michael Jackson.
And Michael Jackson, all the rest of it. No, he's certainly not turning around saying all these people either were doing anything wrong or knew that Jeffrey Epstein was doing anything wrong. It's easy with hindsight to say, well, you should have known what he was doing.
Yeah.
Would you?
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump and Epstein were long-time friends before Trump said they had a falling out several years ago, and the president has denied wrongdoing in relation to the Epstein allegations. No evidence has suggested that he took part in Epstein's trafficking operation.
Yeah, got to be careful. It's about sticking to what we actually know with all of this. Anyway, back to the UK, should we? Because it's feeling a bit grim this Christmas. Has the Chancellor stolen it? There are claims that her budget, in fact, what she said before the budget, really, has kept us shoppers off the high street.
£30 billion tax rise, that's what it was. Recent figures suggest that consumers are being cautious now with their spending.
Yeah, it's worrying, isn't it? Because it just makes everything worse for the high street, which is already struggling. Political commentator Andy Williams is here. There's no doubt, is there? For whatever reason, the Chancellor has talked the economy down, particularly in the run-up to the budget, and that does have consequences.
No, I think that's right. I mean, she was talking the economy down when Labour were in opposition, and she made, excuse me, she was absolutely right that, Labour inherited a mess. They did inherit a mess. And I know that people don't want to hear that, but it's true. Unfortunately, confidence matters, and leaders, political leaders, Prime Minister, the Chancellor, projecting confidence is really, really important. Now, I did not like Boris Johnson at all. I have no time for him whatsoever. But one thing he was very good at is projecting confidence. He had that sort of sunny optimism. He was able to make it seem like there was something better on the horizon. And that is not a skill that Rachel Reeves or Keir Starmer have. I actually think one of the problems they made strategically and from a communications perspective is making Rachel Reeves the front woman for this government. I actually believe she's a smart, capable individual with integrity, but she's not a front woman. And I think it matters to have somebody who can front up.
But how can... Look, I mean, it's not about personal criticisms, right? I'm certainly not in the game of attacking people on a personal level. But in terms of what she has done as Chancellor, everything which the government said they wanted to achieve was being funded through growth, primarily. And the policies she has enacted, the economic policies, have not only not brought growth, they've stifled growth. That's very hard to... It's very hard to look at her and say, well, she's behaved she's very clever and she's behaved with integrity.
I'd love to disagree with you, but I can't. You have to judge them on their own terms and their own track record. And they said it was growth, growth, growth above everything. And actually, the first budget, 2% on employee national insurance absolutely did not do that.
Stifling growth.
Stifling growth, killing jobs. We know from the figures that, we heard it anecdotally, and now we've seen through the data that jobs are being cut as a result of that budget. And in the last budget, honestly, that was a budget for the public sector. It was a budget for public sector workers. So if you have a public sector pension, if you're a civil servant, if you're a pensioner, or if you're out of work, that was a good budget for you.
Yeah.
What that was not a good budget for was businesses or people who work in the private sector.
And growth.
And growth.
And growth. The point is that, surely, what Stephen was saying, though, is about communicating. And if you say there's no jam now and there'll be no jam in the future, then everybody pulls their horns in. It's not even a kind of... Is it? I mean, it's just... I was just looking at the restaurants near me. They're half empty. This should be a time when everybody goes out. And then when I was asking somebody recently, should we just go out and have lunch? And she just said, I can't really afford that at the moment.
Yeah.
And actually, she probably can. But it's just that you don't want to if you're worried about the fact that in the future you will look back at that and go, I shouldn't have done that.
And that's why inflation is such a problem, because you hear governments all the time say, "Oh, inflation's coming down." The problem is it's already happened.
Yeah,
so
too late.
You go into the supermarket and people go, "That's £2 for a pack of biscuits." I mean, it's like butter. Very basic things are now very expensive, and living standards hasn't risen. Now, I don't know what the solution is, but the point is that the government came in and they said, "We're going to get growth going, we're going to put more money in people's pockets," and that hasn't happened yet.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what strikes me from our conversation, Andy. You are someone who is politically to the left of centre.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, yeah. And I voted Labour, and I was on your show 2-3 years ago saying I really wanted this to happen.
Yeah, you really wanted Labour, and now you're, you know, you are unable to defend what the Chancellor is doing. Now, if that's coming from someone like you, that's a very bad sign for government, isn't it?
Very bad. The problem with this government is there's no part of the Labour Party, and not just the party, but there is almost nobody I know who voted for Labour who's happy with them, because people like me, who are more in the centre, on the right of the Labour Party, we're not happy because Starmer's not abiding by what he said he was going to do, which is get growth going, you know, be proactive about boosting the private sector, etc., etc. And people on the left aren't happy because he's not left-wing enough. So they're caught between two stools. Nobody is happy with this government. His personal ratings are, I think, the worst of any Prime Minister in history, which I think is a bit unfair, but, I mean, it's true. He's so
I'll tell you
unpopular.
what it is, though, is you look back and you go, they should have been bold at the beginning, because they swam in on a huge mandate. Excuse me, the frogs are moving. You've had a frog as well. But they should have come in when they had, everybody was behind them and everybody wanted change. And if they'd have made some bold moves and said, right, what we're going to do is we're going to, I don't know, potholes, for example. Look at things that you can actually get and go, right, we're going to sort out all the potholes, because that makes people feel better.
I couldn't agree more. And actually, my biggest bugbear and gripe with this government is, as you said, they had a huge majority, a massive mandate. I know people say, oh, it was thin, no one really voted for them. They got 10 million votes.
Exactly.
180-seat majority. They could have come in and said, we're going to do what's necessary to really change the game. And that,
to make people feel better.
Yes, and this isn't something that would make people feel better. But the biggest political moment of this year was that welfare vote, where the left of the Labour Party said, you're not in control, we're in control, and that's game over as far as I'm concerned for Keir Starmer. I think we'll be sitting here next year and there'll be a different Prime Minister.
I'll tell you what intrigues me then. Again, you don't have to answer, because it's a personal question. But if there was a general election tomorrow, who would you vote for?
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
You're not obliged to answer. It's a private decision.
I don't know whether, hand on heart, I could vote Labour. I mean, I couldn't vote Reform. I definitely couldn't vote for any party led by Cammy Badnock or Nigel Farage.
All right.
So,
but would you vote Was Lib Dems tempting?
Look, I mean,
because this is going to be interesting. It's a case of all these different parties seeing where, or the Labour Party certainly, where will their votes bleed to?
Well, everywhere is the answer. I mean, that's the problem. We know that the Greens are doing really, really well. Hopefully, the Zara Sultana, Jeremy Corbyn thing is sort of dead on arrival, so that's good news. But there's votes going to the Greens, there's votes going to Reform, there's probably some votes going back to the Tories as well, bleeding everywhere. And I mean, a government with 18 months in, with that majority on sort of 16% in the polls I can't believe we're here, but we are.
Unbelievable here. All right, really good to see you, Andy. Thank you very much indeed.
The time is 21 minutes past 8. Honor Krizik has the weather for us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, South East England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain, and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall, some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here, also still very blustery around western coast to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, let's tempt you now with a great British giveaway, because you are in with a chance of winning our biggest cash prize to date. Oh, it's 85 grand, tax-free. How lovely would that be? Well, to sort of sample the wares this Christmas and see what you could do with your money if you wanted to, we sent Hayley Sparks to Lapland.
This Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year.
An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make your new year the best yet.
And we've come to the fabulously festive Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate.
Imagine what next year could look like for you with a whopping £85,000 in the bank.
You could find yourself on the adventure of a lifetime, or just safe in the knowledge that next year is on us. £85,000 of tax-free cash really could be yours. Go on, give it a go, and Merry Christmas!
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Oh, good.
It's
20,
lovely.
Oh, 20.
Have you been to Lapland? Have you ever been
I've
to see
been to-
Father Christmas at Lapland?
No, I haven't seen Father Christmas, but I have been to Finnmark. I went on a dog sledging trip
lovely.
and 5 days.
No, we saw Father
dogs.
Christmas up there once.
Did you?
He was a very busy man, but it was
I'm
about
not
a month
surprised.
before Christmas.
Oh,
but
so
it was
it
great
wasn't-
to see him. It wasn't right
okay.
on the... No, but
yeah,
he was...
because you wouldn't want to go and see him when he's really close
No,
to
it was
having
right
to get
on
on
it.
the old sleigh and everything.
No, he was very busy. He popped in to say hello, though.
Did he?
He
You
did,
see, I
yeah.
love that.
Oh, it was so
see
nice.
See all the little elves.
Oh, yeah, we saw a few elves, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, we
Okay.
did. Oh, never forget that.
26 minutes past 8 is the time. Pubs are waiting on a Christmas miracle, and we're joined by a pub owner next.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're
the failure is...
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
$8.29. Now, we know things are bad on the high street. We know it's bad for retail. It's also bad for pubs and restaurants at the moment, as we've been saying. So a lot of pubs are hoping for, I mean, it's nothing short, frankly, of a Christmas miracle.
Yes, many are facing closure because of rising rents, rising bills and rising business rates, which are going to cost them thousands in the new year.
Let's talk to one pub owner then, should we? Mark Bridgen, who's at the Dog at Wingham, which sounds like a lovely pub. Got to say, Mark, it's just got the right name for a lovely pub on a Sunday afternoon out, hasn't it? How are you finding things at the moment?
Good morning. Well, you're absolutely right. It is a lovely pub. And, you know, we're seeing a festive uplift, but it's no way near where it should be. You know, we're going to have a busier week or two, but because the public are under such pressure financially and feeling so gloomy because of the way the nation is at the moment, the confidence is lacking. And so we're not seeing the real sort of dynamic, really super busy festive period that we're used to. No, you know, every day it's just not quite as busy as we're used to over the previous 9 Christmases. You know, for our Christmas stay, we still have 1 room for sale, and we've never had a room for sale this late in the day for Christmas. So because of the government, our guests, the public are under pressure and our revenues are struggling. But then, you know, putting that aside, we are just being taxed into oblivion. You know, the employer's national insurance has put us into a loss-making position already this year. And we're waiting to find out what happens with our business rates in April. I have called Dover District Council and they don't know. I happen to have a surveyor come round because we're also under a rent review, and he indicates that our rateable value could go up by around 50%, which it went up by 25%. So in 2023, our rateable value went up by 25%. And 2 years later, it's looking like going up by 50%. And if that puts our business rates up by 50%, it will be another, I don't know, you know, I'm too stressed to work it out at the moment. But it will be just, more tax. And then in April, minimum wage goes up again, which, as I've said to you before, I believe in minimum wage, but it going up, you know, 4 years in a row, more than inflation. It doesn't, this is not helping the working people. We have less hours for our working people. We have less jobs. If in the new year, by chance, we might have one or two people leaving, and I doubt we'll replace them now. And
Right. We started off by saying that pubs are praying for a Christmas miracle. Actually, I think a lot of businesses are praying for a Christmas miracle. If you were properly praying for a miracle, what would you want the government to say? What would help? What would be the one thing that they could say, right, I tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to do what? Just one thing.
Can I have two as it's Christmas?
Go on. It's Christmas, you can have two.
Yeah, you can have two wishes. Go on then.
I mean, the employer's NI has just been crippling.
Right, employer's NI.
Reverse that. But if they reverse that and then the rates come in, it's another blow. And the reduction in the VAT, that's the measure that would make the huge difference. It worked before. We know the government can do it. They can reduce VAT, hospitality. It will put some margin in what we're doing. It will, for our business, it will cut the losses. But I know for a number of pubs, it'll give them some profits that they can then choose how to invest in their business rather than paying taxes away to the government that is not investing in anything I see valuable to us.
All right, but just before we run out of time, Mark, let me tell you what the Treasury is saying to us this morning, and I'd like your response, if you would. The Treasury says we're protecting pubs, restaurants and cafes with the budget's £4.3 billion support package. Without this support, pubs would face a 45% increase in the total bills they pay next year. Because of the support we've put in place, we've got that down to 4%. What do you say to that?
They just haven't got a clue. Honestly, the government, they are killing pubs. We see it. They are closing every day. I fear it's going to be a bloodbath for pubs in January, February and March.
Yeah.
I worry saying this because I know our guests, our regulars watch this today when I go in the pub, loads of people say, we saw it on the news today. Well, I say it to their faces. I'm worried about how we are going to survive through the new year, and come the new financial year, it's just desperate. The government are killing pubs.
Mark, we will be talking to you, no doubt, again. Mark Bridgen, the owner of The Dog at Wingham. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Get yourself down the dog. Help everybody. I mean, this is what you've got to do. You've got to show our support.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's still to come. We're going to be joining Aidan as we look at that heavyweight showdown in Miami overnight. All the details in a moment.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get this on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This Christmas, we're inviting you to join the GB News family for an occasion filled with joy. A chance to come together and lift our voices and celebrate what truly brings us closer at this time of year. So whether you're with friends or family or simply in the spirits of the season, we would love to share this special night of carols with you. Carols by candlelight, Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
8:38, Aidan's here with the sport. Can we have a look at Pep Guardiola?
Yeah, he's been speaking yesterday ahead of the game against West Ham today. Now, he's been there, it'll be 10 years this or next summer.
Been where?
Really?
Been at Manchester City.
Oh, sorry, did you mention Man City?
Yeah.
Did you? Nobody said Man City, you just said Pep Guardiola.
Oh, well, yes, because he's...
I didn't know he was Man City,
yes,
did I?
He's so famous.
Is he?
Yeah, he is, but sometimes we are guilty of not stating the bleeding obvious, but yeah, he is the Manchester City...
Manchester City.
Yes, you forget who he even is.
Manchester City, pale blue and white, quite attractive colours together. Thank you.
Excellent. So they played West Ham today. He's been talking ahead of that. And he's saying that Manchester City needs to think about his succession, basically, because I think there's strong suggestions that he may leave at the end of the season. He's already won the treble there. He's won the league title 8 times. They've won multiple domestic trophies as well. And here's what he had to say when asked that question before the match against West Ham today at yesterday's press conference.
When it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Of course, the club must be prepared for everything, for the players, for the CEOs, except the owners, that they are here, except they decide to sell the club. That is not, I think, it's going to happen. The rest, you know, the club has to be prepared, but it's not, you know, in that subject, it's not on the table right now.
I don't like that at all. Sorry, I don't like that. I don't like the moving background. It's very unpleasant. That's like when you're on a train and another train comes in and you suddenly think that you're moving.
It's a new thing, yeah. I was there when they put the kind of the ads behind them and they were static, and it was fine. You have in the flash zone as well in the tunnel afterwards where you interview players, but moving. I think it's just kind of to replicate what goes on around the edge of the pitch, because they've had moving billboards for about 10, 15 years now.
Oh, I don't like it.
It's just trying to get that extra ounce of...
thought my eyes were going.
Yes, I know.
Commercial mileage out of football, which is really not something you see very often in the Premier League.
Have you finished with that topic, do we think? Do we move on to another one, or have you got anything more to say?
You're not talking about chocolate bars again, are you?
Oh, I love a topic.
I know you.
Let's not. I'll tell you what we've teased, but never mentioned yet, is Ali Pali.
Yes, I know. Interesting. Look, they've expanded the competition.
Which competition?
We had darts.
Darts, that one,
You
darling.
didn't mention the darts, though.
What did they do?
Goodness sake, you have to kind of, you know, there are people listening who are going, what's going on?
There's a wasp. There's a wasp flying around.
Yes, I saw that.
They've got rid of it. Almost had a great story last night. Almost.
This is like being in a parallel universe. What about a wasp? What?
Landed on a player's face while he was chucking a dart.
Oh, that would not be pleasing, would it?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. We've run out of time to talk about darts now. And it is darts.
Was the wasp doing that thing with its bottom that's a bit weird? Where, where it's a prelude to a sting?
Quite possibly, yeah.
So watch a wasp's bottom.
Right, was that it? The whole point about darts was about the wasp?
No, it wasn't, but we got sidetracked.
OK.
Anyway, we've got the papers in just a moment.
Yeah, there's what about vegetables? Story about vegetables.
Do you like veg?
Love a veg.
All right, there. Charlotte and Kevin will take us through the details. First, if you feel like heading to Europe, I don't know if there is much sun there, but here's the forecast anyway.
dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're heading off over the Christmas holidays, I'm afraid the weather across much of Europe is very unsettled. Heavy rain and also some thunderstorms, very unusual for this time of the year. In particular, southern parts of France, also southern areas of Italy are going to see quite a lot of rainfall over the coming days. This quite heavy at times, bringing in some hail and thunder and possibly some strong gusty winds. Heading into next week, there will still be some spells of rain, but plenty of sunshine across Tenerife with temperatures in the low 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dawdney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
We've been having a discussion with Kevin Schofield, politics editor at HuffPost UK, and Mail on Sunday editor-at-large Charlotte Griffiths. We've been having a discussion about red cabbage and other vegetables. Take it away, Kevin. Set us up for the argument.
Apparently, red cabbage is, quote, very much the vegetable of the moment. With Christmas round the corner, sales have soared by 150%, so it's very trendy, red cabbage. We were having a debate as to whether we like it, how you like it cooked. So there's different ways. So apparently it's a European thing to have it for Christmas, and it can be braised with apples, onions, raisins, cinnamon and cloves. But yeah, it doesn't have to be. You can have it however you like.
Yeah.
Have it however you like.
But I love it. You're not a fan of the cloves or anything?
I'm not happy because whenever you go to a pub or a gastropub, but even just a normal pub, you get red cabbage. It's always on the menu now, and it's got cloves and cinnamon in it, and I can't stand all those flavours. Vinegar, red wine vinegar. So I'm very anti the red cabbage, and this has sparked a huge debate
not
here at GB
anti-red
News.
cabbage per se, anti-shenanigans.
Any shenanigans on my vegetables, except with Brussels sprouts, I will tolerate some lardons.
Yeah.
But that's it. I want plain vegetables at Christmas, thank you.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Love
roasted.
sprouts.
Yeah.
A roasted sprouts.
Roasted or fried with a lardon, just cut in half. And
I don't mind, and I will tolerate a chestnut.
Oh, chestnut, that's traditional, I like that.
On a Brussels sprout.
I like pickled red cabbage.
Very fine, love a pickled red cabbage.
Not on Christmas Day.
No, but on a sandwich the day after.
Like a Boxing Day thing.
Any time of year, frankly, Kevin. Pickled red cabbage and cheese sandwich.
I've never ever had that.
Oh, it's a fine item.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. My mum used to make pickled red cabbage, and the serried rows of pickled red cabbage in the pantry just made me very excited.
Oh, wow.
I'd stand there just slightly dribbling a bit and just wondering if I could break into another one.
Well, people are obsessed with eating the rainbow. That's actually what came out in this article. That's why people are eating red cabbage, because now you can't just have green vegetables. You have to eat the rainbow. It's healthier if you eat the rainbow. So you want a carrot and a red cabbage and a sprout and a parsnip, and then you've got a sort of rainbow.
I
do like a parsnip.
Oh, yeah. Do you not like parsnip?
Love a parsnip. There isn't a vegetable in this world that I don't love.
Oh, that's good.
No.
That's
I
why
have
you're so
yet to
healthy.
find a vegetable that I look at and think, no, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, let's go to the Times, Charlotte, should we? This actually isn't talking about food, ironically, but it's about a goose.
Oh, this goose, a Canada goose, flew into the window of a lady in Leicestershire, and she thought her house was being broken into. It was absolutely terrifying. So the goose was really tired, presumably it had flown over from Canada or somewhere very far away.
Yeah, you would be tired, yeah.
And it sort of had a crash landing right through her front door, the glass in her front door.
There's a great picture. There's a great picture in the story as well.
Have we got the picture?
She's obviously taking a picture of this poor thing.
Which paper is it in? And I can try and hold
The
Times.
Times.
Okay.
Three, I think.
Times, page 3. I'll be with you in a minute.
But
here we go. Oh, goose. Right, here we go. Goose.
She's a good egg, because instead of saying...
No, down there, look, hold on. There's the goose, down there at the bottom.
Very small.
It's quite small.
There we go.
Anyway,
you can just about make it out. It's a poor thing.
Is it all right?
It's all right, yes, because instead of saying, free Christmas dinner, she gave it very responsibly to the local animal shelter, who are now looking after it.
Oh,
but you could have thought that was a sort of mail-order Christmas dinner coming right to your door, but she didn't go down that route.
She must have got the fright of her life. She was
was
sitting
really
watching
worried
television,
that
wasn't she? And just the next thing she hears is the window on her door goes, and you must think, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she said she thought someone was trying to kick a door in. How scary is that? Well, you would do, and then to go out and go,
hit the ceiling, wouldn't you?
It's just a goose in my front door.
Just a goose hanging through.
That would still be quite freaky, wouldn't it? This poor thing must have been like flapping.
Also, I'm surprised he wasn't injured after smashing through the front door. I mean, that's in a major way.
It is in hospital.
It is an animal hospital. It's not in the oven, you'll be pleased to know.
No, it said it just
felt better.
No, it says the goose has just had a few cuts and would be sort of waiting to, a couple of plasters, and then they'll be back into the wild.
Good story to tell his mates as well.
Yeah.
Good story.
Can we look in the Express, Kevin? The Bondi Beach stuff, I mean, beyond horrific.
Beyond horrific, yeah.
Last week, I mean, good grief, I was on when it first emerged. I mean, it's just awful. But there was this hero man, we've seen the footage of him. I mean,
astonishing.
He will have saved a lot of lives, actually, this fella.
And was shot himself.
And he was shot himself, and he's been given a thank you gift.
Yeah, so a social media influencer set up a GoFundMe for this man, Ahmed Al-Ahmed, who runs a fruit and veg stall. And unbelievably, it has raised £1.2 million for this man, who's currently obviously still in hospital. And there's a picture in here of him being presented with one of those big comedy checks of 1.2 million. And the man, so humble as well as brave, said, I don't deserve this. But, he's been given it, and it's fantastic.
They said how he is.
He's recovering, but, he's still very shaky, and he was shot. But
he was shot by, so he disarmed one and then was shot by the other.
Well, quite. But it was also the restraint that he showed as well. He disarmed him, and he had the gun at the guy, and he didn't fire it. I mean, which shows his humanity as much as anything.
I tell you what, it's slightly... I mean, look, it's good news for him. Right, I mean, if whether he keeps the money or not, it's entirely up to him. But it's also slightly uncomfortable. I mean, I can understand why he's uncomfortable with it. All these people have died.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's gone into overdrive. His natural heroic instincts have kicked in. Thank God for it. But to be sort of given a cheque for £1 million is...
It probably feels quite uncomfortable.
But he could also do a lot of good with that money.
And he strikes as the type of man who I'm sure he will.
I would have said so. Can we end just before we get the weather? This is a story about Strictly Come Dancing. There are pictures in all the front of all the papers. There's a picture on the Daily Mirror, for example, the last waltz with Tess Daly and Claudia Winkleman. So this is all about the.
I mean, really. They presented a show, they made a load of money out of it, and now they're leaving.
Yes,
it's just
but
I agree with Stephen.
Yes, and I'm afraid I agree with Stephen. Any other agreements with Stephen?
No, I mean, it is just a TV programme. I mean, it's quite interesting, I suppose. There's a big debate as to who will come next, but will it be the same again? I think probably not.
But it's funny. As soon as Alan Carr was on Traitors, there were lots of people. Did he win?
He did win.
He did
win. He did win.
But immediately everybody started going. That it's a shoe-in for Strictly.
Well, Zoe Ball has mentioned, Holly Willoughby, Bradley Walsh, Alison Hammond.
It's all the same old names, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I think with it all. It's the same old name. I mean, Alison Hammond can't do it. She hasn't got time. She hasn't got time in her diary to squeeze in another show, has she?
I think it's interesting that Zoe Ball's left her Radio 2 show in the last few days, I think. So people are drawing a link there, thinking, oh, maybe she's got a new...
She did It Takes Two,
and she has done It Takes Two for a long time, and that would be good. But you're right, it's always the same name. Bradley Walsh. Let's do this, and let's have it hosted by Bradley Walsh, and then the Stephen...
yes. Thingamajig.
Who does Deal and No Deal, Celebrity Catchphrase.
If it was Alan Carr, it would actually be quite interesting, though, because he is the man of the moment. He's got a huge personality. But I agree with you, any of those other names, and I'll die of boredom watching Strictly. But Alan Carr might revive it a little bit.
Very different from Bruce Forsyth. It'll be a different style.
How the times change.
I mean, I don't know, Bradley... I love Bradley Walsh. I think he's fantastic and funny. I don't know if he's the right fit for that, though. I don't know. Listen, I don't watch it. What do I know?
I don't watch it either. And now it's moving to Manchester, apparently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's bound to get better.
I think it's going to die a death in the end, Strictly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's done.
Most things do.
All right, you two, thank you very much indeed. It's been a joy.
Yeah, Honor Criswick has the weather for us.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland, may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, South East England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain, and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall, some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here, also still very blustery around western coasts to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland, but for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
This Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year.
An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
And we've come to the fabulously festive Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate. £85,000 of tax-free cash really could be yours.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
What I've discovered is that a comet that was observed by the Chinese in 5 BC, I put together the information from their observation to come up with an orbit that would take this particular comet very, very close to the Earth. And as it passed the Earth, probably about the distance to the moon, a position on the rotating Earth would have seen the comet pause for a period of hours over a location. We have the same thing now with the geosynchronous satellite. If you stand at the equator, there are geosynchronous satellites that stay over your head 24/7. This comet was so close to the Earth that it would have had the brightness of like a first quarter or full moon. So it would have been clearly visible in the daylight.
So it would have been easy for them to follow. And how quickly would they have had to have travelled? Could they have travelled fast enough to keep up with it?
Well, it would have been a direction. So it turns out it takes 2 or 3 hours to walk from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. It's a relatively short distance. And that's the period of time where it behaved like this for those few hours. So there was the time available. Now, of course, their trip from the east, it would have taken many weeks. And the Chinese said the comet was visible in the constellation Capricorn for more than 70 days. And it's that appearance in one constellation for an extended period. Pilots know this. If you see an object in the sky while you're flying a plane, and it's not moving left, right, or up, down, it's actually on a collision course, or nearly so, with you. So the comet was heading more or less directly towards the Earth until, at least in my theory, they arrived in Jerusalem and walked that distance from Jerusalem to Bethlehem.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Right, good morning to you. Thousands of files linked to Jeffrey Epstein have been released following pressure on the White House.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Bill Clinton are amongst the many high-profile individuals pictured.
Well, it's the biggest release of information so far, though officials say it's just 10% of the total.
Retailers report a disastrous December after the government's £30 billion budget tax raid, prompting questions over whether the Chancellor has stolen Christmas.
Well, retailers will be hoping for a festive boost today. It's Super Saturday, the busiest shopping day of the year. More than 19 million of us will be turning out today to get some last-minute gifts for Christmas.
The author and actor David Walliams dropped by his publishers following allegations he harassed junior female colleagues. He strongly denies those claims.
You know, packages just dumped. Yesterday, for example, I found an every parcel just in the gutter.
And missing deliveries are causing concern. Christmas parcels go missing nationwide.
It's all over in Miami, where Anthony Joshua has forced a 6th-round stoppage against Jake Paul in their World Heavyweight contest. It's a big day in the Premier League too, with Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea all in action today. We'll have updates from the cricket in Adelaide and the darts at the Ali Pali.
It's the last weekend before Christmas, but is it going to be dry or wet? Stay tuned and I'll be here with all the details.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith and this is GB News Breakfast. Sorry, I sort of jumped the gun there, but there are so many lovely animal stories in the papers today. Well, there's a beautiful picture of a baby beaver who was rescued after being swept away in a storm, now thriving at a sanctuary in Cornwall. And it is just, I mean, it is the happiest looking beaver. It's so sweet, and it's called Turnip. Would you call your beaver a turnip?
I wouldn't call it Turnip.
No, OK. There's also...
Call it Barry.
Yeah.
Alan
Beaver. Alan. Yeah, you see, the thing is, it's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, no, or Bev Beaver. I don't know whether is it a female beaver?
I don't know.
Turnip, who knows? Anyway, the other story is about...
frightening me.
Frankenhamster.
I mean, what is this about?
Do you like a hamster?
I like a hamster.
I like a hamster. Although it is a shame that they're most active at night time, which is when you want to be asleep, as opposed to having old hammy hamster kind of doing its thing. They're saying a solar-powered Frankenhamster might be on the way after boffins.
Why do you need to solar power a hamster?
Barry Boffin gave rodents sorry, just saluted. Anyway, gave rodents the ability to generate energy from sunlight.
But why?
They're harnessing the sun for power.
Well, would you not have to feed them then?
Well, they're saying that
It's
humans...
supplementary power, I would have thought.
Thanks, Aidan, for that helpful comment.
I don't know. Anyway, the point is that they could be... they're talking about Frankenhamsters and saying that essentially they just get the energy. Are you all right?
No, I'm dying. No, I am dying.
Are you just imagining? It's not... I don't think it's about being big. Is that what you were talking about?
Well, I don't know.
No, I think it's just that they generate energy, so you probably don't need to feed them because there they are. They're generated. They've got energy from sunlight, so there they are.
Well, that would be good for us then, wouldn't it? You'd never have to eat ever again.
How boring would that be? What would I
wouldn't
do
put
with
weight
my
on.
day? I'd start a packet of biscuits, and that would be the end of it.
No, you'd have to eat them like hamster.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're saying you wouldn't eat them at all.
How's it go?
Oh, do you know what? Yeah.
Anyway, I can't even be bothered to talk about bananas now, but...
Why? What was the banana story?
We're apparently bananas are the food of 2026.
I thought they've been...
Rich in potassium.
They're the biggest selling item in a supermarket, bananas.
But I thought they always were. This
they are.
This is
I know,
it's not
really. It's not really new.
Andy Murray famously described it as a pathetic fruit, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
A pathetic fruit?
Yeah, he said it didn't offer much nutritional value.
You're joking. It's full of potassium. You should eat bananas if you're pregnant. Very good for you.
Do you think he was at the time?
It might have been. I love the fact that the Daily Star describe it because they're looking at ways of describing a banana and they call it the yellow favourite. I mean, who wrote that? I haven't seen him. Nadeem. Now Nadeem, the yellow favourite. Yeah,
Oh.
There you go. Anyway. I just want to go home now.
No.
But we can't because we've got the top story to tell you about.
We've got lots of news between now and 10 o'clock when we hand over. Hundreds of thousands of files linked to the paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein have been released, although officials say it is only 10% of the total.
Amongst the latest documents, pictures of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and former US President Bill Clinton, amongst others.
In one image, the former president is pictured by a pool with, or actually is in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell, and there's another in a hot tub with an unidentified woman.
Andrew, meanwhile, seen laying down on the laps of 5 unidentified women.
Now, we must remind viewers that being named or pictured in the files does not imply wrongdoing.
No. Earlier, we spoke to a lawyer, Rad Seeger.
There is no evidence in the documents that have been released overnight of any criminality whatsoever.
So why, then, do we need to see them? Because, I mean, this is what we get. We had a release of pictures 24 hours ago from Democrats in the States, and now this huge tranche of information. And yet I just wonder what it actually achieves.
Look, Stephen, I think the way to approach this is just the beginning. Congress recently passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and I think as members of the public, as viewers, that's what we want. Is we want transparency, we want justice for the victims, and we want accountability for anybody who's done anything wrong. This tranche that we've seen doesn't reveal anything other than people who were connected to Jeffrey Epstein. There's lots of photographs of very famous people interacting with him. There are, as far as I could tell, thousands of photographs with lots of blacked out faces but nothing else. But the whole point of this is to get to the bottom of things, and that's what the public want. We want to know whether anybody who's rich or powerful got away with breaking the law insofar as these poor victims are concerned, but we cannot reach any conclusions this morning at all.
You see, I'm just wondering, I mean, when you think that this is only 10%, I know it's a lot of photographs, but at the same time, why not just release them all? They've had enough time with these.
And Penny, that's the point, and it just whiffs, doesn't it? And look, your viewers are smart people. We will form our own conclusions as we sit in our homes and speculate today about what this all means. And that's really what we don't want. We want, as members of the public, to see evidence. And I'm afraid the way the DOJ, the Department of Justice in Washington, is approaching this is only going to make things worse for anybody who is under a cloud of suspicion, because the truth always surfaces eventually. Penny, you'll know that as a journalist. As a lawyer, we will always get there, come what may. And I'm with you. I think the sooner the DOJ complies with this act that Congress passed, the better for everybody. And look, you guys will keep going at it. So will us in the legal profession, and I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Now, back here, are you looking forward to Christmas? Not long to go. The big question is this morning, has it been stolen by the Chancellor? Which sounds a bit dramatic, doesn't it? But Rachel Reeves' budget, and in fact what she said in the run-up to the budget, really, is being criticised for really keeping shoppers off the high street.
Yeah, following a £30 billion tax rise, recent figures suggest that consumers are being cautious with their spending. They're still spending, but it's much smaller.
Which is really bad news for all those retailers and indeed venues like pubs and restaurants that are already struggling with tax rises and rate rises and all the rest of it. Now people aren't going in at the same numbers. Let's talk to political commentator Andy Williams. Morning, Andy.
Morning.
Has she talked down the economy?
Yeah, I think she has. I think confidence really matters. People sort of draw their confidence from leaders. And Rachel Reeves has been telling a really negative story about the economy for a long time. Now, there is a pretty bleak picture to paint, if we're being honest about it, but it's important that the Chancellor and the Prime Minister are projecting confidence. That's not just in terms of consumers who are going out and spending, but also investors. And I think one of the things in the run-up to the budget we saw is everyone just hit pause, because there was so much uncertainty about what was going to happen, whether that was about, inheritance tax or taxing pensions or income tax. And I think
everything got thrown up into the air.
Everything got thrown up in the air, and they made the same mistake as they did in 2024, which is we're not going to confirm or deny anything. So complete uncertainty and therefore paralysis in the economy. And I think it's not just investment. It's not just people sitting in banks in Canary Wharf. It's people at home, families going, oh, we're not quite sure. Let's just wait and see what happens. And we're seeing that bleed through now.
Yeah. You see, I just think we talk about people struggling, and we talked to Mark Bridgen, who owns the dog at Wingham in Kent, and he was saying he just despairs. In fact, you could hear the despair in his voice.
Just doesn't know if they're going to make it through to New Year.
Well, I mean, hospitality in particular is so tough at the moment with inflation and, there's this paradox where unemployment's at a 5-year high, but also businesses can't find people to hire because so many people are out of the workforce on long-term sick, and
But also because he was saying if they lose people in the new year, if there's a bit of a staff turnover, he won't employ any more. They won't be replaced, and this is the problem. I can see the thinking. Of saying, well, we need to raise more money, therefore we'll increase rates, we'll increase taxes and all the rest of it. But if you do it to an extent where actually businesses are closing down, then it's lose-lose.
Yeah, you're then in a doom loop.
Yeah.
And I think that's where
because the tax revenue goes down.
Right.
Because, exactly.
You end up in a negative spiral. And I think, unfortunately, that's where we are. I'm afraid I don't actually buy the argument that we need to raise as much money as was raised at the budget, because Rachel Reeves could have made different choices. She could have ended the triple lock on pensions, which is complete madness. Every single economist, left, right, centre, agrees that is totally unsustainable. You know,
particularly with an ageing society as well.
Exactly, it's only going to get more expensive. If you look at the projections, it's going to cost tens of billions more every year. We cannot retain that policy. We are allowing 1,400 people a day to sign off on long-term sick for anxiety. Now, some people genuinely have anxiety that means they can't work.
But it's not that number.
But it's not that number. No.
And what about? I mean, the Tories turn around and say we would get things going by, I think it's £47 billion in cuts that they say they can make, and a big chunk of that, not all of it, I think about 17 billion is on welfare.
Yeah.
Do we need to start looking at that?
Yes, I mean the first thing I'd say is that they were in government for 14 years.
Oh yeah.
They did have a very good opportunity.
But we are where we are now. Right?
We are where we are. Look, I think it's easier said than done. Reform do this a lot. They say, oh, we're just going to go into local councils and slash this and slash that, and actually they talk a good game, but in reality they've not done it. It is easier said than done, but we do need to look at welfare, and that's not being cruel or it's not denying the fact that there are people who genuinely need benefits, but we do need to look again at it. It's just not sustainable.
But what we need to, because people will know, we have commentators from the political spectrum on the show, so we represent all views. You're a Labour voter, Andy, and you're coming out with things that effectively sound, right, maybe not reform policy, but certainly more like Conservative policy at the moment.
Yeah, but I just take a view of what the government needs to do and where the economy is, and they're not doing it. And the problem is that whether or not Keir Starmer or Rachel Reeves are prepared to make those choices, the parliamentary Labour Party certainly won't stand it because they're much further to the left. So I think that there's paralysis in the economy and there's paralysis in government, and that's a real concern.
Yeah, and I do think that I think there will be a lot of people who are listening to tales of how much people get in benefits and thinking, why would anybody go to work? Genuinely, if you can manage to live at home, watching the telly, having a nice time, enough for a couple of pints down the pub.
I think there are always extreme examples. You'll always find a story where someone says so and so earns 80 grand a year on benefits, and look, maybe there's an outlier here or there, but even if you look at just the number of people every day who are being signed off on long-term sick and effectively put on the scrap heap, and it's not left-wing to say, yeah, let's just say, don't worry, you don't need to work, forget about any ambition, forget about building a life for yourself. That is not... No, I just don't understand this mentality.
And the trouble is, look, feeling grows. It's like the immigration issue, right, where an underlying feeling of injustice grows, and it just grows and grows and grows, and people become very angry. And that's happening with benefits. And the problem with that is that you start to assume everyone on benefits is ripping us off. Now, that isn't the case. Of course it isn't the case. But benefits are there to help people who are unable to help themselves.
That's exactly it. The welfare state was set up as a safety net, and that is incredibly important. And we need it. But what it shouldn't be is an alternative to
it's an alternative
going out there and
lifestyle.
living. It should not be that. And for some people, it has become that. And I'm afraid that a huge chunk of that is people have found a loophole which is getting signed off for mental health reasons. And some people, as I say, if you have really serious depression, anxiety, all of these things, they're real and they do debilitate people and stop people from working in many cases. But in many other cases, it's just a way to get yourself signed off.
Yeah. All right, Andy. Good to talk to you.
Good to see you.
Very much indeed.
The time is 9:15. 9:15.
Yes, it is already.
I know. Look at that. Time swinging by. Honor Krizik has the weather for us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most it should be dry, plenty of sunny spells as we reach towards the afternoon. Perhaps a little bit more cloud just starting to push into parts of the west, some spells of rain just edging into parts of Cornwall, also parts of East Anglia, southeast England could see some more cloud and also some spots of rain and quite blustery around western coast. That might just add on to the chill a little bit more, but for most, feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, to finish off the day, still once again plenty of cloud across parts of Devon and Cornwall. Some quite heavy bands of rain starting to push through here. Also still very blustery around western coast to finish off the day. Also quite cloudy with some spells of rain across parts of Northern Ireland. But for many it should remain mostly dry, a mix of cloud and also some clearer skies. Now, through the course of this evening and overnight, there will be a mixture of some cloud and also some clearer skies to start, but eventually more clouds starting to push up from the south and southwest, and also some spells of rain too. Still quite blustery winds in the west, but by the time we reach the early hours of the mornings, winds mostly light. And with all the cloud and the breeze, that means temperatures will be staying around the middle single figures, but a few sheltered spots may just dip below freezing once more. Then as we head into Sunday, a much cloudier day and still with some spells of rain and drizzle at times. This could be heavy, particularly across southern parts of Wales and southwest England, but most areas will see patchy, intermittent rain, and some areas will just remain dry but still mostly cloudy. Now, temperatures will be holding up around about average for the time of year, but perhaps feeling a little bit chillier around eastern coasts.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hey, it's time for the Great British Giveaway and your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. An incredible
£85,000.
£85,000 in cash. Hayley Sparks has been on a magical trip to Lapland, has all the details you need.
This Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize of the year.
An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make your new year the best yet.
And we've come to the fabulously festive Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate.
Imagine what next year could look like for you with a whopping £85,000 in the bank.
You could find yourself on the adventure of a lifetime or just safe in the knowledge that next year is on us. £85,000 of tax-free cash really could be yours. Go on, give it a go, and Merry Christmas!
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yeah, best of luck to you. Now, as many veterans as we know will be struggling this Christmas, we're going to be talking to a veterans charity in just a moment.
Bowl.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Now, Christmas can be a very tough time of year for a lot of people, but particularly with veterans. And the Spearhead Foundation, since 2018, has worked with hundreds of veterans, current and former members of the armed forces or the emergency services.
The foundation supports more than 200 veterans and their families every year, and especially at Christmas. And earlier this year, we helped save them from closure after the funding that covers the cost of their premises have been cut.
Yeah, great to do our little bit to help. So let's talk to their CEO, Craig Monaghan. Good to see you this morning, Craig. It's good that you're still up and running. That's the most important thing, and helping those people, those veterans, who really need it this Christmas.
Yeah, obviously, earlier in the year, we've raised quite a fair whack of money, and that's pretty much seen us through to the sort of Christmas period, and like all our events that we sort of run on a weekly basis, that's helped like engage all of that. But then obviously, as we head into Christmas, I know like the government has recently announced 35,000 people they're going to provide travel warrants to help get people home for Christmas, like troops home for Christmas. But that still doesn't, you'd think that removes some of the problem, but it still doesn't remove the issue. Like one family particularly that the foundation is working with has got a warrant to come home, so he can come home, but the wife is a full-time carer. They've got two kids with additional needs. He actually can't come home because they can't afford, because she often skips meals, so they can't afford to feed both of them. And that's sort of like where we will step in, and like we're going to provide them with, so on Monday we're dropping off a week's worth of food, presents for the kids, just to sort of try and bring that in. But like on the scale, we're probably working out of 10 families, seven of them need support. And that'll be whether, to be fair, it's mainly food. That's the biggest ask that we get. And we'll feed like a family of 3 kids for £200. That's including a pack of presents too. And it is really good, but we shouldn't have to do it. And it's been something that we do year on year.
Yeah, how many of you are actually end up going and delivering the food and presents? My goodness, the smiles must be from ear to ear when they see you coming along.
Yeah, so we get like mixed reactions. So when the lads have gone out like last year and done a few of the houses, they've asked particularly like they've done it private whilst the kids are not there, and like dropped it at the side of the house. We've had people come to us and pick stuff up. And then there's some people that are just not bothered by it, and we'll go to them and we'll speak to them and stuff like that. So you get like a mix. I mean, everybody's happy and everyone's thankful of it, but obviously there's a big stigma around.
Of course.
Getting support.
Yeah.
You see, the thing I struggle with, Craig, I mean, particularly when it comes to veterans and people who, I mean, as you know, have literally, they've been prepared at the very least to put their lives on the line for us, for our welfare, for our country, and then they end up, frankly, on the scrap heap. And it makes my blood boil. It frankly makes my blood boil that we're leaving people in this situation.
Yeah, totally. So we've got a person that we're working with currently who we're providing food parcels to. He got out of the military suffering with PTSD. We actually found him living in the back of his van with his child. We've managed to put him into supported housing. When that ended and that fell through, a veteran within our organisation that owns a couple of properties put him into one of his properties, and that solved the homeless problem. But his mental health is deteriorated so bad. He actually can't work, and yeah, he gets benefits, but because his kid's grown up now and moved out, he actually really struggles to look after himself. He really struggles with the daily tasks. So we have to pretty much weekly take him food and stuff. And obviously, that is the whole point of the organisation. I mean, if we didn't have people like him in that position, there'd be no need for us. And in an ideal world, there would be no need for us. But he really struggles with asking for help. So the way he sort of does it is he comes through our website. We know it's him because they'll see his name pops up and he comes on and he types a message to us and we support him. But we are getting to a point now where, so far this Christmas period, where we've only been able to help, I think, 65% of the people that have requested. And it's just because, obviously, as society is struggling on a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Everybody's... Well, we've been talking all morning about people cutting back on going out, cutting back on presents, etc., and, of course, giving money to charities also, always suffer too.
Yeah, so if it wasn't... So, obviously, earlier in the year, we had, support from yourselves, and we raised our running costs, and that's really helped. And then we got an unrestricted grant that pretty much will see us. We got an unrestricted grant from the Mike Gooley from the Trailfinders, and that pretty much will see us through event-wise until sort of January time. And normally by this time you're set for the full year next year, and we're just no way near that target. And that's just a sign of the times. And certainly normally around the Christmas period, anything we do around the Christmas program, we're normally so oversubscribed. We normally can help everyone. And one of the big things our foundation focuses on is trying to remove that red tape. So if you have got a high paid job or a decent paid job, you're not just going to get told no. We'll still help you. And we've actually now, for the first time, just simply because of where financially the world is at the minute, we've had to actually start going, right, well, we need to prioritise who we can help and who we can help. And so Monday, Tuesday is when we do all the packing of the presents, all the food shopping, and that's where we start pushing things out. So by Wednesday, the latest, very, very latest, early Wednesday morning, everyone's sort of boxed off, and then we chill out for Christmas. And it's just sort of we're just not there, and it's disappointing. Obviously it's upsetting, but we're trying to do the best we can with what we've got.
How much do you need, Craig, in terms, if you could look at money, not to solve all the problems, obviously, but, what's a good chunk of money to see you through the next couple of months to help people?
So our running costs, we try and keep them significantly low. If you were to sort of say, what's the foundation's running cost on a whole for the next 6 months, I'd say it's probably near 25,000. If you say to get Christmas and to be able to support every single person on our list, I'd say 8,000 to 9,000. Because like I say, £200 for 3 kids and a parent at home covers them for 1 week. Now, we've currently gotten out of over 200 requests, we've got 98 that we're going to have to say no to. And that's simply because that's just where the world is at and where we're at as an organisation. And we have done things to try and save money, ways to have sustainability. Obviously, you used to be able to go out and do a bag packing fundraiser, for example, and you'd come away and that would pretty much solve you for 50% of the month, in terms of fundraising. And now you're coming away and it's probably not even paying the person's fuel to drive to that event. And that's just sort of, I think that's just every organisation struggles like that, though.
Yeah, they are. Well, look, I know people can Google Spearhead Foundation. You've got a donate page on your website, haven't you? So let's hope people are feeling the Christmas spirit and can help out a little bit as well. It's really good to talk to you this morning. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, Spearhead Foundation. The time is just a whisker after 9:30. Aidan McGee is with us next with all today's Premier League fixtures.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
True Grinch fashion, one neighbour has written a bar humbug letter to a festive father-to-be, outraged by what he calls Dave Goodlin's cheap and tacky Christmas display outside his house.
I mean, there is no such thing as cheap and tacky Christmas today. Christmas is cheap and tacky. Dave accidentally, it happens, come on, brought a 20-foot inflatable Santa, believing it was just 4 foot tall, and inflated it outside his house.
Well, the neighbour's fury and Dave's giant Santa have now gone viral, and he's been left with little choice but to deflate the big man himself.
Or looking at that picture, went and brought a snowman that matched. Any case, we don't know. So joining us now is the man himself, Dave Goodings. Dave, you must be a bit deflated by this story.
Hello, good afternoon, guys. Yes, very deflated, because last weekend, the Sunday just gone, we decided to put up our Christmas decorations. You've got the tree behind me, and then outside the front, we've got 2 giant Christmas inflatables, one being a giant snowman and the other a Father Christmas.
So people have complained. Grinches have complained about this.
It's just the one complaint letter that we've had through the post. So we put them up on the Sunday, on the weekend just gone, and then I got home from work on Monday to an envelope that had been posted through the door. There's, no writing on the envelope, which I thought was a little bit weird. I opened it up, and lo and behold, in the envelope was this long letter, all in capital letters. I couldn't believe it, what I was reading. And at first, my heart sunk, because I'm not the kind of person at all. I hate upsetting anyone. I hate any confrontation, stuff like that. But for me, I was reading it. And I was like, oh, have I upset someone? But then after reading it a couple of times, it's so silly. It's a time of year where you can let your hair down, have a little bit of fun at Christmas.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This Christmas, we're inviting you to join the GB News family for an occasion filled with joy. A chance to come together and lift our voices and celebrate what truly brings us closer at this time of year. So whether you're with friends or family or simply in the spirits of the season, we would love to share this special night of carols with you. Carols by candlelight, Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Time to go through all the latest sports news. Aidan is here, and boxing.
Yes, absolutely. Look, it was overnight. It was a real stretch for anyone who had to get up and watch it, of which there were...
Was it about 10 to 4 in the morning, something like that?
It got underway around about there, actually. Yeah. We were expecting it to be around about 3:30, so it wasn't too far off the mark, but 65...
Can you just remind me, sorry, before we go into the facts and figures, Anthony Joshua is a boxer. I know he's a boxer, for goodness sake. So how many titles has he... how many
He's
titles?
a 2-time world heavyweight champion, yeah.
2-time world heavyweight champion. Jake Paul, who was his opponent, is
He's a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber. He's a professional boxer. He does have a ranking now.
Oh, does he?
He does,
What is his ranking?
I think it's number 13 in the world, which is rather embarrassing, but that's it.
13?
Yes, but that's at cruiserweight. He doesn't normally fight.
What is a cruiserweight?
Cruiserweight would be slightly below, a few stone below, or probably about 2-3 stone below heavyweight. Yeah, it's below light heavy. So he wouldn't be anywhere near Anthony Joshua's weight, although there was only 2 stone between them in the ring.
And how tall are they both? Sorry, I think we need to know this.
Anthony Joshua's 6'6".
Yeah.
Jake Paul 6'1.5".
Right, so
substantially... See, that's hilarious, because when you look at the two side by side, Jake Paul looks tiny.
Yes, he does. He does. But look, he held his own in the ring. You'd have to say that. But it's just you don't know whether you're dealing with reality. That's the problem here, because it's almost like covering WWE. Now they're saying,
which is World Wrestling, just in case you're
yes,
wondering.
World Wrestling Entertainment. Yeah, it was WWF. And they lost a lawsuit with the Worldwide Fund for Nature.
They did.
Which you knew. So, yeah, it's difficult to know whether you're dealing with something true or not, because I think the first 2 rounds at least looked choreographed. It's not in anyone's interest for Jake Paul to lose within the first few seconds. It may look spectacular, but you're not going to sell that too many more times to a global audience. I mean, the numbers here were just out of this world. I mean, 65 million concurrent live streams worldwide, 108 million average live viewers worldwide as well. £200 million was the purse.
Was it pay-per-view or was it?
No, it wasn't actually. No, it wasn't. But the punters complained about adverts coming on during the Netflix stream, and so that's where they made their money, because I've not seen that before on a live broadcast. They don't do a lot of sport, I have to say, but Jake Paul's fights tend to be on Netflix.
And you say he's a YouTuber, so
yes.
did he?
So he's built up a following just by being on YouTube, mostly younger kids, and it's post-truth, I suppose, isn't it? Because it's people just look at it, and it's not necessarily elite sport, but people like it. And who are people to say? Who are any of us to say that what people should watch? And boxing's welcoming it in lots of ways, because while behind the scenes they're thinking this is ridiculous. This is not elite sport.
It's pulling viewers in.
It's pulling viewers in. It's putting eyes on the sport, and the purses, the money involved. I mean, the money was already good at top level boxing, but you're talking a purse of £200 million, of which I think Anthony's going to walk away with about 50 million of that.
So do you think so? But if this is the way that things are going, then essentially you're talking about Jake Paul and other YouTubers fighting each other. Then why would you not do it that way?
That's already happened.
Did he one with KSI?
Yes, he did. Yeah, but no, KSI is pro. He's been pro for a while. Yeah, he has. Yeah, but no, you'll see more fights against professionals. That's what you'll see. It's a meeting almost, and unless the audience gets bored of it and thinks actually, this is not top-level sport. After all, the senior people, the experienced people were right, and we need to start watching AJ against Tyson Fury, which could happen next summer.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be...
He's called him out at the end of the match, but we kind of know, based on what Ring Magazine wrote last week, that's going to happen next summer.
Right, let's have a look at some Premier League fixtures, should we?
Go on.
I wanted to do the Wasp.
Not by me.
I just wanted to look at this. I mean, you talked about the Wasp at Ali Pali and the darts. Look how close that Wasp was to his eye.
He won.
And he won, and he's now kept
David
it.
Manure, yeah.
He's kept the Wasp.
David Manure.
Manure?
Yeah.
Is that really? OK, where's he from?
Yeah. Kenya. He's from Kenya.
Kenya. But anyway, he said he kept it alive in his pocket for luck.
Yeah, but we think it's now died a death since then. Well. So hopefully that hasn't stunted his progress going into the tournament. But we've had a really lively first week and a half. Okay. I mean, most of the big seeds are through. We had a failed drugs test as well. We had a female competitor last night who almost became a second woman to win a tie since Fallon Sherrick, who won a tie at Ali Pali in 2020. And she was in action last night, losing to Dave Chisnell. And we've got Luke Littler's not in action now until after Christmas, I don't think.
Right. OK. Did you want to do any more sport?
Yeah.
Oh, OK.
Bit of Premier League. We've got loads of time.
Premier League, yeah, why not? Look, we've touched on Arsenal, we've touched on Man United, Man City, Chelsea are in action today at Newcastle. I want to mention Liverpool, because we chatted off air this morning, didn't we, about Mo Salah? Today. Yes, they are indeed. 5:30 kick-off at White Hart Lane, or to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So one of their players, Curtis Jones, actually gave an interview yesterday. We don't have access to it, unfortunately, but he said that Mo Salah actually came to the squad and apologised for what he said 2 weeks ago after the draw at Leeds United. He's now gone off to the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, and he's kind of drawn a line under it for now. I still think he will be sold. We spoke about it this morning. We said timing is everything. And I said that 2 weeks ago. I did say that on this channel.
You did.
And I said that this is all lined up to coincide with the opening of the transfer window, which is in 2 weeks' time. I think he's had a mega offer, and it happens to be pretty mega because he's already on £25 million a year, not including bonuses, to be a Liverpool player, but 33 years old.
It's very similar to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you were on that.
Yeah. He went over to some journalists just recently to have a go.
Did he?
To try and get into the transfer window.
Yeah, he says, fed up working with Penny and Aidan.
Yeah. Not doing it anymore. I need to double my salary.
I'm loving the idea of a transfer window. It's just a window that a Canadian goose can get through.
Harry Redknapp used to do interviews through his car window on deadline day. It was
I think more of that.
More of that. We haven't mentioned the Ashes all morning.
Yes, we haven't. England 4 wickets away from defeat. We don't want to mention it too much. They're about to lose the Ashes down in Adelaide on day 4 of the third test. Yeah. Embarrassing.
Done.
It is.
9:41 is the time. The rush is on to buy presents ahead of Christmas. Anna Riley is in Leeds for us.
It's Super Saturday. 19 million of us Brits will be out getting those last-minute gifts today, with £1.75 billion being spent in one day alone. We've been speaking to shoppers here in Leeds about what they're buying. But if you don't fancy Christmas shopping and you want to go abroad, here's the European weather forecast.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're heading off over the Christmas holidays, I'm afraid the weather across much of Europe is very unsettled. Heavy rain and also some thunderstorms, very unusual for this time of the year. In particular, southern parts of France, also southern areas of Italy are going to see quite a lot of rainfall over the coming days. This quite heavy at times, bringing in some hail and thunder and possibly some strong gusty winds. Heading into next week, there will still be some spells of rain, but plenty of sunshine across Tenerife with temperatures in the low 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Now it's 9:46, and it is, would you believe, the busiest shopping day of the year. That's because people are rubbish. And they haven't pre-planned. It's that panic. It's panic buying
because
today.
it's Christmas Day on Thursday. And so I don't know. You see, for me, I'm always a last minute.
Are you a last minuter?
Yeah, I like a last
minute.
minute. Oh,
It's
really?
too much pressure. But anyway, latest figures. Oh no, this is your line. Go on.
No, you can say it.
No, the latest figures show retail sales slumped in November. So will today's spending spree be enough to help our economy? No, you say this bit.
Yeah, I will do, thanks. GB News reporter Anna Riley is in Leeds for us today. Anna.
Good morning, Penny and Stephen. Well, yes, it's Super Saturday today. The festive frenzy is underway here in Leeds. Shops opened at around 9 o'clock. I was here first thing, but it has certainly got busier. Now, there's going to be £1.75 billion that's forecast to be spent today alone. That'll be a real boost for retailers following that budget. 19.8 million of us Brits will be out today doing that last minute shopping. Of course, many people may have broken up yesterday for Christmas. It's the weekend before Thursday, Christmas Day, and that's what's driving the footfall. Now, this research has been done by Sensormatic Solutions. They say that last year, data showed that store visits on Super Saturday climbed 0.8% year on year, and that was prompted by retailers bringing forward Boxing Day discounts to try and encourage spending on the high street. Now, I've been speaking to people here in Leeds who have been doing their Christmas shopping. This is what they told me. What are you out shopping for today?
I have no idea, actually. I'm hoping to be inspired by something, see something lovely for my husband that he's not expecting.
Is he just the last one on the list then for Christmas?
Always. You got to sort everybody else out first, wrap everything up, but I hope there's something there with his name on it.
I'm buying wrapping paper and some socks, last minute gifts, and I'm doing this early morning because it's so busy and traffic is very heavy.
I've got all my shopping done, so this is just a mooch around town to get a bit of breakfast and see some family.
Now, the Bank of England have said that an average family spends £740 on Christmas. And topping that list of what people will be buying or receiving this Christmas is toys, of course. Christmas is all about the kids. So an enormous £2.13 billion is expected to be spent on toys. Following that, there's been several tech launches this year, the Nintendo Switch 2 and the iPhone 17. So tech's going to be what people are buying and receiving for Christmas, and following tech, it's clothing and footwear. Of course, as well, today being the top day for shopping. Following that, it's the Saturday after Black Friday. Then it's the last full shopping day before Christmas, the 23rd of December. Then Boxing Day, 26th of December. And then following that, it's the second Saturday in December as the peak shopping days. But Super Saturday today. If you're out like people are here today, make sure that you plan ahead. People have already said that the roads are quite busy, but certainly get there, get those last minute bargains and get prepared for Christmas.
What are you buying for us, Anna?
Just pretend you can't
I'll send you some Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire tea, that'll do nicely. Nicely.
Do you know what?
Tea.
We would both be very happy with some Yorkshire tea.
That'd be lovely.
I could also do with a teapot that actually does a decent pour. I've
Yes.
got 1 out of 4 of my teapots, and they're all rubbish. The trouble is that...
So you need to find a decent teapot as well, Anna. I mean, she's giving you a list.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But, you know,
Thanks,
you
Anna.
can't, they need to be able... When you go and buy a teapot, they need to put water in so you can actually check whether it pours properly.
Yeah, you
because
need a good pourer.
honestly, after this flipping teapot, you know, you have to do it on tray. Sorry.
Anyway,
I've
sat
gone
here
off
listening
on
to
one.
us in amazement. Olivia Utley and Charlie Peter, because they're here next with Saturday Morning Live.
We are.
What have you got?
Well, it's a little bit of a depressing one for the last one before
Top
Christmas.
sell.
Top sell.
We promise it's not depressing.
Like Rachel Reeves.
I'll pick up next time
Well,
we do this.
Rachel Reeves is exactly the point that is slightly depressing about it all. We've got a shrinking economy. We've got pubs closing every day. We've got unemployment going up. Now we hear from Anna there that the Christmas shopping season has been a total washout. And then this week we've got the Employment Rights Bill coming in. What is that going to do to business? Where will we be in a year's time? We'll be talking to people from all over the industry and political commentators as well about what's going to happen with that Employment Rights Bill. How are businesses going to manage it? Are they going to be letting go of staff?
Yeah, well, we heard from a pub owner who was saying, you know, if people are going to leave, they probably won't replace them, so...
Well, I intend to do my bit for the pubs this Christmas season.
Good, so do I.
I bet you do.
And I'm going to do my bit.
Let's all get stuck in on supporting pubs this Christmas season, in fact, because I'm working quite a lot over Christmas. I think, are you two back here a bit next week?
I am.
I'm popping up on Christmas morning.
Well, I hope a few of the bosses aren't watching right
remotely.
now. But
I
intend to be bringing the pub to work next week. In fact, I think we should make the most of this festive period and support our publicans.
Yeah.
Are you looking a bit concerned
No,
there?
I'm just worried, because is it legal to...
Bring a pub into
Let's not have these questions of legality. That's a problem for next week, I think.
I know.
But, you know, we'll be talking about the pubs as well, of course. We're going back to Anna Riley, see what shopping she's been managing to achieve, for us as well.
What do you fancy? I mean, she's talking about a lot of tech going for Christmas presents. It's a big ask, though. It's a lot of money.
Tech is so expensive.
I like clothes for Christmas.
I like clothes.
And we like socks.
We like socks.
And also, and we were talking about beavers a bit earlier on, and I think that what we should have in gloomy moments is is on YouTube, and can I highly recommend you go and check it out. There is a beaver eating a cabbage, which is just one of the most joyful videos you have ever seen, and the noise it makes
than Rachel Reeves
as it chomps through a cabbage. Yep.
You've been making Stephen watch loads of beaver clips this morning, haven't you?
I have. But listen, this is a really good one. Beaver eating a cabbage, just excellent. I noticed that I've watched it 400 times. But it perks me up on a gloomy day. What can I say?
GB News Breakfast, folks. GB News Breakfast.
I'm not entirely sure what's happening.
Tremendous. This is going out, you know, people are watching this right now. It's the most extraordinary thing.
Or listening.
Is this live?
We will also be talking about the misogyny in schools scandal.
That's a good story.
That's a talker, isn't it? Because
it is a talker.
It's one of these things where you say, you can look at it and go, I know something needs to be done.
Yeah.
I just don't know that this is the right way to tackle it.
Well, exactly. Is this what needs to be done?
Yeah.
Because you've got boys who feel patronised and talked down to, going home and looking up Andrew Tate online, getting all these ideas into their heads.
Exactly.
And then you have the idea that schools are going to sort of patronise them and talk down to them more in the hope of getting them away from that sort of content. It doesn't sound very sensible to me. We were all talking about this before, and we quite like the idea of going full Australia and just banning social media for under 16s.
Yeah.
When I was a young lad, some say I still am, some don't, but...
A couple of years ago.
Once upon a time, I was the future once. The idea that some teacher coming to tell me, oh, what you're thinking online is actually, what you're seeing online is really, really dangerous and awful, it's going to take me away from that space. Good grief, I think it would do the absolute opposite.
Yeah, that's the problem.
We'll see. Loads more coming up on Saturday Morning Live after the break. Hope you join us. It won't be depressing, and you have the weather. See you in a mo.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Quite a chilly start this morning with some frost in places, also some mist and fog, but through the course of the day, mostly dry with plenty of sunny spells. Now, we can't rule out some showers, particularly across southern coasts, also central and southern parts of Scotland may see 1 or 2 showers, but for most